brand new biblical question. But first, we dealt with last week biblical question on yesterday fellowship, during yesterday fellowship. And if you were not there or didn't get a chance to watch it live, you can podcast yesterday's fellowship by going to rebuildingtheman.com/church. rebuildingtheman.com/church. We dealt with so are you a memory worshiper? Last week, biblical question. Are you a memory worshiper? And very interesting feedback yesterday. I have to say that unfortunately, it is real unfortunately, all people are memory worshipers. All people. And then there are those now who are hearing about this and they're starting to work on that to overcome memory worshipers. But if you were not a memory worshiper person, you would be free. I feel short.
No, stay.
Huh? Oh, it just went up a little bit.
Thank you.
Then somebody let my chair down. So make sure it's fired over there too.
Yes, we'll do.
It was too low. Somebody let it down.
Okay, thank you.
What the? But all people, unless you're working on it and you can overcome, and because you're so identified with thoughts, memories, past, future, it's hard for you to let it go. It's hard for you to stop worshiping thoughts. All thoughts are all lies about anything all the time, right? And it's hard for you to let thoughts go because you're so identified with them and you believe in them and you worship them. And someone tell you, hey, stop thinking. You want to live a thoughtless life. You don't want to be thinking. A no-thinking life. It's like asking you to give up a life. And that's exactly what you're doing. When you get to the point where you're living a no-thinking life, you have given up a false life for the real deal. For the real deal. So check it out if you did not hear it yesterday or you were not there. Amazing meeting yesterday, by the way. Really, really amazing. Really amazing. Amazing fellowship. The men's forum is this Thursday night. This is the first Thursday of the month, believe it or not, of February. What of 2025? So men's forum this Thursday at 7 p.m. if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. Brand new biblical question. Brand new biblical question. And it's a doozy. It is like, I know I've been saying Mama Mia, Ola, Cece, Galatians for the other one. I can't find the words for this one. I can't find the words to say how amazing this biblical question is. And again, it's only for those people who want to overcome. Know thyself and overcome. It's not for everybody. For those who love your misery, stay right in your hell. Fine with me. Fine with God. Fine with Jesus and the Holy Spirit. You can stay right in your hell and nobody's going to cry. Really. Stay miserable. Stay lonely. You can stay lost. You can stay sad. You can stay suicidal. You can stay on your suicidal pills. No one cares. But for those who want to overcome, these questions are to help you find your way. All right. Brand new biblical question. Is anger a part of intelligence or stupidity? Is anger a part of intelligence or stupidity? Ooh. What do you say, Nick? Anchor baby. This is Anchor baby first time
I'm not
hearing
stupid. So
that. Is anger a part of intelligence or stupidity?
my real answer is that it's part of stupidity. But I was playing around saying, I can't be stupid. My ego's telling me I can't be stupid, so my anger can't be stupid.
And so what are you saying it is?
No, it's I think pretty dumb. And I'm definitely thinking about Church's conversation yesterday on some of this a little bit. I feel like you talked about it a little bit. Very fascinating.
So is this a part of,
Stupidity.
oh, you say stupidity?
Yeah, there's the
Why do you say
decisions-
stupidity instead of intelligence?
Well, here's how I'm thinking about it. I've always heard that anger is supposed to be useful in some way. But the things that come from it are just pretty bad.
Amazing. Nice. That's your Anchor Baby. The Anchor Baby show is at 12 noon today, by the way. Check him out. He ain't stupid. He is not an angry man. When hate come in today to do the hate, the super chats, I got to ask him about this female by the name of, I think her name is Kristi Noem or something. And she's a part of the something to do with the illegal alien thing. DSA, DEA or something. And then Duffy. What a mess!
I do believe that is all for now.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. So before you leave, Hake, and I get back to the calls here, Kristi, is it Kristi Noem or Noah?
Noem.
What?
Noem.
So she,
Noem.
she just got a position as DE what?
DEI?
Is it DEI?
DHS. Homeland Security Secretary, I believe. Kristi Noem. 8th Secretary of Homeland Security of the United States.
To see her in that position and standing around all these men, she's in the middle, dressed like she's a man, trying to pretend like she's a man, dressed in men clothes. To see her in that position and all the other agents standing around her is probably one of the saddest things I ever seen. It doesn't fit. She needs to quit. These men should not be in that type of position and have a female over them and like that. It's not real. She's faking leadership.
Yeah.
It's not even real, and it make the men look weak. I saw her stand up there with some jeans on and a police jacket, DEI jacket or whatever. and all the men around. I'm like, this is the highest thrill she ever had.
She was governess of South Dakota, I believe.
Well, they need to put her back over there and hide her away, because I don't know who she is. I never heard of her. That's how I remember.
Yeah, I remember she spoke at that place in front of Mount Rushmore where Trump spoke in his first term, towards the end of his first term, and he talked about making new monuments for the whites. And she was giving some speech, and all the people in the chat were like, oh, she should run for vice president or something like that.
Just because she gave a stupid speech?
Yeah.
They need, this, I disagree. How did she get in there? They put her there because she made a speech?
I think that Trump put her there.
He did?
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with him. I was disagreeing with the great white hope on this. It doesn't look good for the men to have a female over them like that. It make them look weak. And it don't fit. It's like having a drag queen in charge of the military.
Yeah. No, she has, and on top of it, she has this like tiny, pretty, a lot of makeup, wearing person, wearing a cowboy hat. When I saw her, I think she was wearing a cowboy hat, and then just trying to play like she's this tough person.
It looked like she's playing in a movie or something, and it's not real.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's sad to see that. I can't even watch it. It just, they got this female in charge of these men. And what is it that she does?
Homeland Security Secretary.
So H what?
DHS.
DH.
Department of Homeland Security.
I told it, the president should not have done that, in my opinion.
Well, the government has made all these new departments. This department has only been around since like after 9/11. I think W made this new department.
This DHS thing?
I think so.
Well, that's not a reason to get rid of it.
Not a reason to put her in there.
They couldn't find a man to put there? Even if it's a weak man, it's better to have this crystal Noel thing.
Yeah.
It ain't right. America would never be normal again as long as you're putting these women over men like this. And the poor men, they look like little boys around her. They're never going to correct her.
I know, huh?
And she's going to push
and yet
them
she
around.
has like no real authority.
Right. Meaning what?
Like she's like playing tough.
Right. It's not even real. It looked like she's an actress and she playing a role.
Yeah.
Like she thinks she's in a movie. It's horrible. It's really horrible. It doesn't fit. It doesn't work. All right. And then I found out that this guy Duffy.
Sean Duffy.
Is Duffy the same guy that quit being according to reports, quit being a congressman? He resigned from that to stay home and raise his children while his wife be a TV talk show?
Yeah. Sean Duffy. Well, according to the story that you told, yes, that's the same guy.
What?
He's Rachel Campos' husband.
This is a guy that quit his job as a congressman, according to the report. I don't know, because we never know what the real truth is. And he stayed home, according to the report, to raise the children, and he let his wife go on TV and fulfill her ego.
9 kids.
So now he's over what?
He's the he's the new Pete Buttigieg. He's Secretary of Transportation.
Really? They might as well have left Pete butt cheek there.
Terrible.
What's going on?
Well, these people have been in the spotlight. And so, I don't know, Trump picked them. Because Trump named these guys. Or his administration did, anyway.
So was Trump told to pick these people, or did he do it on his own?
That I don't know. I'm not privy.
This man wasn't even able to make his wife stay home and raise 9 children. He stayed home and raised them, according to the report. It may be wrong, but it look like it. How he gonna run a what? Transportation?
Yeah, the Department of Transportation.
And his wife doesn't even obey him. So here's what I recommend, folks. Though we have the great white hope in the office, you still got to work on overcoming the world. Because these weak people are not going to make things better for your life. You may have a safer country. You may have more jobs, but you're still going to be miserable. They put these weak people in charge. I don't care if they're Republican or conservative, it's not going to work. A man that can't make his wife stay home and raise 9 children, how he going to make a transportation thing happen? Am I wrong?
No, you're not. No, you're not wrong.
Did you know all this?
Yeah, I kind of knew that. I was like, oh, I heard the Sean Duffy's voice on the radio when they were talking about, because, there's been some transportation disasters recently.
You say that again.
And
there was another one on Sunday near me. It was a plane caught on fire. According to a report, we have that for you.
There was one on Friday that I hadn't even heard about till Sunday morning.
I know. It's falling out. I mean, these disasters happen so fast, you can't keep up with it.
Makes my head swim or spin.
Made your head swim.
I mean, I was glad not to be hearing Pete Buttigieg's voice, to be honest. But I'm like, oh, that's Sean Duffy. Oh, man.
That ain't no better.
Yeah, it's really not.
Anyway.
There's a lot of like trendy MAGA people who are not right. And they seem like they're part of that.
I don't think Trump would have chosen Kristi nor just on himself if it was on him to make that decision.
I don't know. She's a proven governess.
But she didn't do that. You said she made a speech.
Right. She made a speech. Well, I just remember that's when she came into my consciousness. That's when I became aware of her.
But how she...
I'm not telling you like that's not her whole resume. But Trump has always been putting women in charge of different things.
She should be in charge. If you want to be a part of the administration, she could work for Trump down at Mar-a-Lago, making dinner and stuff.
She could go get his...
be in charge of the women that are cooking for the guests.
That's a good idea. Get his Diet Cokes.
Right. Some of you may be aware of the situation with the airplanes of late, and it's been a mess. NBC 10 is reporting that a medical transportation flight. First of all, there was one that happened in Washington, D.C. before this one. All right. This happened on Thursday, I believe, of last week. I may be wrong, Wednesday or Thursday of last week. There was a passenger plane and a helicopter that collided, according to a report. And I believe 60 people on the passenger flight and 3 or 4 on the helicopter. And so far, they have not found any survivor that I'm aware of. And that happened at the Ronald Reagan Airport there in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday night, I'm told. Isn't that amazing? And then on Friday, there was another airplane crash on Friday night in Philadelphia. So we had one Wednesday night, and this is all in 1 week. Not 2 weeks ago, not 2 or 3 weeks apart, but in the same week. NBC 10, a medical transport jet carrying a child patient and the mother and 4 other crashed into a northeast Philadelphia neighborhood about 30 seconds after takeoff on Friday. Watch this from NBC 10.
The NTSB released this video today as they scoured the crater created by the medical jet on impact in northeast Philadelphia Friday evening. In that hole, investigators found the black box in decent condition about 8 feet below ground. We also learned more about the 4 crew members who tragically lost their lives. Jet Rescue Air Ambulance identified them as Captain Alon Montoya, co-pilot Josue Juarez, paramedic Rodrigo Padilla, and Dr. Raul Mesa. The patient, 11-year-old Valentina Guzman Murillo, and her mother, Lizeth Murillo Osuna, also passed away.
Our city continues to mourn their loss, and they are in our thoughts and prayers.
The NTSB says Learjet 55 was traveling to Missouri before heading to Mexico when it crashed less than a minute after takeoff, causing a massive explosion. Mayor Sherelle Parker says 1 person in a vehicle also died, and the number of those injured is now 22. At least 11 residential properties are impacted.
They have a lot of processing yet to do of the scene. In fact, as you heard, we have not yet recovered everything we need to recover from the scene.
Amazing, huh? So that was on Friday. And then lo and behold, I just found out this morning from by way of my producer. Derek had this in the package for me. I didn't hear about this at all until this morning. According to Fox 26, a United flight from Houston to New York caught fire during takeoff on Sunday morning. Watch this from Fox 26.
Come on, I'll get longer. Please remain seated until further instructions are happening. Oh my God. Please get us on. So fire, this is jet.
Isn't that amazing? Sunday morning, a United flight on fire. It leads me to wonder what's going on. It's abnormal for this to be happening in our country, in my country. What's going on? Is it intentional? Is it? And I'm asking a question. I have no idea what's going on. All right, zero. But it's strange that all of a sudden this is happening. And when it rarely that it happens in America. It's not something that happens often at all. And all of a sudden, it's happening all over the place. It really makes you want to think twice before you fly now, at least for now. Did my seat go down there? Huh? No? I don't think so. Okay. What's going on? I hope the president gets to the bottom of this. And then they let us know what's really going on so we would know. You can't be taking a risk in the air like that. I thought it was a horrible mistake a couple years ago when they decided to put blacks in the control tower and let them fly planes, and they weren't qualified. They got rid of the qualified white men and put in non-qualified black females and some males. And the control, I'm like, you're putting our lives at risk in the sky just to prove something? I want my country back. I want my country back. My producer said driving 1,500 miles doesn't sound too bad now. It doesn't. Really. I mean, not knowing exactly what's going on, you have to think twice about flying now. But now, because you don't know if this is intentional, is it being set up on the grounds, or once you get on the plane, the pilot or somebody, you just don't know. Because it's so screwed up before Donald Trump got in there, you just don't know. And before I go to the phone, I wanted to know your thoughts on this interview from 1967 with Martin Luther King Jr. What do you think about this? What are your thoughts on this? Really, I want to hear from you about it and whatever else. You remember Martin Luther King? He was the one that started that mess called the so-called civil rights movement. No such thing as civil rights, by the way. And it was the worst thing that ever happened to the blacks, other than the abortion. The civil rights movement was the worst thing. Abortion was the second thing, the worst thing. But I want to hear your feedback on this interview with Martin Luther King Jr., where he explained why black Americans face more obstacles than immigrants Watch this from NBC News.
What is it about the Negro? I mean, every other group that came as an immigrant somehow, not easily, but somehow got around it. Is it just the fact that Negroes are black?
White America must.
That was Martin Luther King. You still think he's a hero? He's a zero. Not a hero, but a zero. Isn't that amazing? When I first heard of him, I didn't realize that he was a socialist. Martin Luther King says it's cruel just to say to a bootless man, pick yourself up by your bootstrap. This is from NBC News.
White Americans tell the Negro to lift himself.
What a shame, huh? That reporter should ask Martin, well, Martin Luther King, you look well dressed, you sound educated. How did you make it? And why don't you tell the blacks that rather than trying to make victims out of them? And Martin Luther King, if what you're saying is true, why so many black people buy land, they're getting educated, whatever education means to them, and they're doing fine, Martin Luther King. How are those people able to do it? They pull themselves up by the bootstrap. Why other blacks can't do the same thing? Martin Luther King Jr. And Martin Luther King Jr., why aren't you telling the people that the blacks were brought here by Arabs and not by white people? Martin Luther King Jr. And Martin Luther King, why don't you tell the blacks there are other black people that own businesses and doing very well in the country? Why are you trying to make victim out of them and you're trying to be their leader? How did you make it? How did you pull your bootstrap up? But the reporter didn't ask him that. They didn't ask him that at all. And they allow him to deceive many blacks that they could not make it because of the white man. And today, black men and black women are blaming white people in 2025. They're still begging and blaming at DEI. Look at, I'm wondering about the plane situation. Is it DEI? Thank you, Martin Luther King, for creating nothing but a bunch of victims. And now Americans suffer for it. because the white man's too afraid to say no to these people. What a socialist. Martin Luther King was a socialist, and he created socialist mentality, black folks in America. And they will not let it go because now they are seduced by free stuff. You don't have to earn your way if you're black. We got a black female on the U.S. Supreme Court, and she doesn't even know what a woman is. There was a so-called black female vice president who was only there because of her color. Job as a doorknob, but she was a black female. Thank you, Martin Luther King. You did a fine job before you left this earth. You looked over the mountaintop. You went up there on top of that hill, and you looked over the mountaintop. Now I wonder, what did you see? Because you sure didn't see the glory of the coming of the Lord. You saw Satan coming. What a mess. What do you think about his speech? That was from 1967. Let me go to Vicky, a first-time caller out of North Carolina. Vicky, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had a question about, I guess, marriage. My husband and I had been married before, and we definitely have had issues. We stormed COVID and everything else out together, and we don't have any children together, so we don't have ties of that nature. But I guess I married a broken man who recently, as of like the beginning of this year, had started following you. And he recently left the home last Saturday and said he needed to fix himself. He was no good to anybody. Since he has been listening to you, he did leave heavy drinking alone and other items, which is a blessing in itself, because he said he's let go of the anger, and I think he plans to forgive his parents soon. But I'm just wondering, as a wife who has stuck by him for a couple years of a lot of, alcohol-related issues, even a domestic violence issue, I gave grace and forgave and dropped everything to clear his way so nothing, wound up on him permanently because I loved him. I've went against, of course, my family and everything because I've loved him. And now I really just don't understand the outlook and why all of a sudden, he chose to leave the home, because I began listening to you when I found out where some of this was coming from. And I really don't understand the part that you speak about, men leaving the wives because they can't handle them or becomes too much. Yet I also have heard that if the man was no longer beta and alpha and working, with God, that he would be able to set aside the wife's issues and be able to know how to handle her and move forward and be able to lead her correctly. So I'm really confused. I was just seeking your insight in this.
And your question for me is what?
I guess the main thing is, what is your view and what is the correct way to look at a husband leaving a wife to find themselves? I mean, how does the Bible interpret marriage and divorce? What are reasons appropriate for divorce?
So your question to me is, what are reasons for divorce or something else?
Correct. I guess, yes, that would be the start, yes.
Did you say you were married before?
Yes.
And did you have children with your first husband?
I did. He's deceased.
And are the children adults?
No, sir. I have one child, and he's 12.
Oh. And did you tell me your husband, your now husband, forgave you for abuse? You say you used to abuse him?
No, I had to forgive him for abuse.
Oh, he abused you, or you abused him?
It was more of an alcohol-related fit that wound him up in jail, to be honest. He never physically hit me. He just had some issues, and the police, when you contact the police when things get out of control, somebody is going to jail.
And so
happened.
You called the police on him?
Yes.
And he had not done anything to you, but you called the police anyway?
I called the police because it was becoming violent. He was in my face, and I was getting shoved, and I called them to calm him down.
Amazing.
Unfortunately, he was so out of control when that happened. He lashed out and tried to frame me for hitting him, which is why he went to jail.
So you hit him?
No, I never hit him.
What'd you do?
I was on the phone with dispatch. I never laid a hand on my husband.
But
I was afraid.
He said that you hit him, though?
He said that, yes. But I had proof that I did not. And after everything was said and done, I'm the one that went to court and made them drop it. They wanted to prosecute, and I said no. I went to court. I stood up for him.
Why would a man stay with a woman who would call the police on him?
Why would a man let himself get out of control to the point of making his wife fear him?
That's not the question.
It was all alcohol. This was all alcohol induced.
Why would
he was not himself.
Why would a man stay with a woman that would call the police on him?
Because he recognized he was at fault.
But why would he stay with a woman that would call the police on him?
Because he was at fault.
How was he at fault? You called the police.
Because he was out of control.
But what did that have to do with you calling the police?
I needed assistance to get him under control. He was blacked out.
And
so, he was legally blacked out, had no recollection.
And so why did you need assistance if he was blacked out?
Because he was still up and moving and doing things, but he wasn't there. He doesn't really remember much of what happened, if that makes sense. Again, alcohol was involved. It was not a good situation. But after all of that, I gave him grace, and I forgave him.
And where did you get the grace from to give him?
God. I went into prayer over what to do.
God didn't give you no grace to give him. That doesn't make sense.
God told me he was my husband. He had never done anything like that before, and to give him grace.
And so why you think God told you that this man was your husband?
Yes, sir.
Why would God put someone with you that don't belong with you and you end up calling the police? Would God give you a husband that you would have to call the police on?
I mean, bad things happen of the world every day.
Would God give you a husband that you would have to call the police?
I mean, unfortunately, it appears that way. I don't know what you're alluding to.
So are you saying God is an imperfect God and he gives faulty gifts?
No, I'm saying
that you got a husband that you said is not perfect, so God gave you an imperfect gift, right?
No, as humans, we are imperfect and can have imperfect actions.
So you believe that God gave you an imperfect husband?
I mean, I'm not perfect myself, so
you're not answering my question. You believe that God gave you an imperfect husband?
I guess.
God said he doesn't give imperfect gifts. Remember he said that for the parents to treat them children. If your child asks for a stone, for a piece of bread, I don't know how it goes. Would you give them a stone? He said, well, I would give you a perfect gift. Why would God give you an imperfect gift and then go back and give you some grace? Doesn't that make sense?
Well, our
That's
God is
so
a forgiving
insane.
God.
What?
Well, God gives all of us grace. He gives us love. He gives us forgiveness. And we too have to do the same thing for our friends and our family. We're not perfect.
But you don't have love.
I do have love.
No, you don't.
I honestly love everybody.
No, you don't.
I might not love action.
You don't
but I
even love your
everybody.
husband.
Yes, sir, I do.
If you loved your husband, you would not have called the police.
I loved my husband, and I did not want to wound up hurt by my husband and him wind up in even more trouble because, unfortunately,
that's not
sir,
true, because if that was true, you would not have called the police. Have you apologized to your husband for him bringing the worst out of you, for what you have done? Have you apologized to him for what you did to him to make him act that way?
I apologized to him for reacting that way, yes. I apologized for contacting the police.
Did you apologize to him for bringing the hell out of you to cause you to do what you did to make him react that way?
No, should he not have apologized to me for...
Why you didn't apologize to him for imposing your hell on him?
Sir, I walked into that type of attitude. I hadn't been home for hours, and I walked into him in his, as he said, he has told me he was in his thoughts, in his head, listening to music and drinking a gallon, pretty much a whole jar of alcohol. And unfortunately, I walked into that. I wasn't even home. I walked into him behaving in an erratic manner, and I tried to diffuse it for several hours, and it grew. I unfortunately, if you weren't there, you don't quite understand, but I really would like you to, could you answer my question as far as divorce and what the Bible says about divorce?
Well, first of all, you've been married before. Secondly, has he been married before?
Yes, sir, twice.
And now he's gone. Be glad that he's gone, and you work on you overcoming your hell. Take this opportunity to work on the hell that's in you. You got to forgive your mother. You got to forgive your father so you can overcome anger, and then you can know God. Right now, you don't know God. You wouldn't know God if he walked in your house and slapped you. You wouldn't know him. So you got to overcome your anger so that God can reveal himself to you and make you free.
As I'm working on myself and trying to understand all this, and I have listened to your broadcast and everything quite a bit over the last weeks. I listen to them every day.
Have you forgiven your mother?
No, I have not went to my mother, and my father is deceased.
Why haven't you gone to your mother and forgiven her?
I'm trying to, I guess, understand why I'm going to forgive her, because my dad raised me. My mother didn't. I know it's an unconventional situation, but when my parents divorced, my dad fought and got custody of me. And he's the one that actually raised me, not my mom. And my dad is now deceased, unfortunately. But I really don't know what I'm supposed to forgive them for. I don't hold any anger or ill will towards either of them.
Have you gone and forgiven your mother for being a no-good mother?
No.
And why not?
Because I think she did the best she could.
She did. That's why you need to forgive her.
Okay. And my father? I don't think he was, he put his heart and soul into me.
So you have no anger against your father, am I right?
No, sir. My dad was the closest thing that I could call a saint besides God. He raised me. He did everything by the book.
Well,
He
good.
he took me through Christian school. He took me to church. He raised me in the faith. He did without to provide for me.
Well, most adult men and women don't resent their father. They yearn for the father. It's the mother that they resent. You got to go and forgive your mother for being no good. She could not help herself. She did the best she could do, and God will forgive you. And then you need to just be still and watch the evil thoughts in your mind. Stop believing them, and just work on you. Don't worry about your husband. Let him. It sounds like he's working on himself. Let him go work on himself. Be glad he's gone so you can focus on you. Don't worry about a divorce at this time. Don't think about that at all. In due season, in due time, you will see what to do about the marriage relationship. But for now, you need to overcome your hell while your husband is working on his hell. Because you're as screwed up as he is. And two devils came together in a marriage and just brought more misery upon each other.
And is there a way to repair this?
Yeah, by forgiving and doing the silent prayer, and God will show you what to do. He will show you whether to stay or to leave, if he come back or not. If he comes back, and if he's working on himself and you're working on yourself, it will work itself out. Because in relationships, you're not supposed to put any effort at all, zero effort, to make a relationship work. Either it works naturally or it's not meant to be. It'll just be hell. You'll be trying to make something work that wasn't meant to be.
So are we supposed to still stay in contact so we can see the changes in one another, or how does this work?
Don't do any of that. You just work on you and let your husband go and leave him alone and let him work on himself. You work on you.
Okay.
That makes sense?
It does. It does. Of course, I know you don't like fear, but I have the fear that every time he has left me multiple times, and every time he leaves, because in our state, there is no legal separation, so every time he leaves, he steps out of our marriage and seeks the companionship of another woman.
And how do you know he seeks the companionship of another woman?
Because unfortunately, that woman comes and lets me know about it.
And so why are you staying with a man that want to be with another woman?
Because I love him and I forgive him and let him back and hope and pray he doesn't do it again. And he says this time it's different, that he's working on himself. And I mean, I can see a change in him. Because obviously, the drinking and everything is gone, and I'm very proud of him for that. And I've never seen that in 7 years, because that's been a huge issue of ours, and now it's gone. But he left, so I'm just trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do.
You're supposed to let him be gone, wish him well, and work on you. And you don't love him. You don't even have love. How are you going to love him?
I have to disagree with that. I do love him.
No, you don't love him.
How can you tell somebody that you don't love somebody?
How you love him? Where you get the love from?
My heart.
You don't love him where you get the love from in your heart?
Because God gave me that love.
No, you have Satan love. You haven't even gone and forgiven your mother. How you have love? God has not forgiven you yet. How do you have love?
But how does magically, if I go and forgive my mother, how is that going to flip a switch in my head or my heart, and all of a sudden then I know love and can give love? I don't understand that.
Well, you would never be able to give love because you would never have love. Human beings don't have love. But when you truly see that you're wrong for resenting your mother and resenting your husband, and giving him the hell that you've given him, when you see that you're wrong and you admit that you're wrong to them, God will forgive you, and He will magically, if you want to use that word, He will change your heart from hate, which is evil, to love. And then once your heart changes, He's going to start to work on you to bring you out of your imagination. And you're going to see that you never had love, that you've been a wicked woman all of your life, and there's no love in you. But you'll be made to have love because God will give you His love. And it's that love you're going to love all people with. And that love does not require that anyone love you back. You will love them as God loved you.
Okay, and can I ask, is he supposed to forgive himself or tell me? I mean, is he supposed to, tell me that he's sorry for the hell he put me through?
Don't worry about him. You just work on you. You just work on you.
I was just wondering if it worked both ways.
Because if you had love, truly had love, and your husband walked out, it wouldn't be a big deal at all. You'd be like, okay, bye. Because if he doesn't want to be with you, he doesn't have to be with you. And something's wrong with you for wanting him to be with you. And you have told me that he's been messing around with other women, and the woman told you, and you still want him back because you have no love.
Do you mean I have no love for myself?
You have no love for anybody.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to still wrap my head around everything, which is why I'm still listening and tuning in, and why I decided to call in today to try to talk to you and figure this out, because I've went into scriptures and I couldn't figure this out.
Right. You can't figure it out. No one can. Only the light of the Father will make it clear for you. So be glad that he's gone. Wish him well. Don't be trying to find him. Don't be talking about him out there to your little friends and things like that. And you work on you now. You have a perfect opportunity to work on you. If you're missing your husband, it means that you have a problem. If you're mad because he's gone and you're longing for him, you have a problem. If you're angry about it, you have a problem. So you need to overcome all those things. And if he's working on himself, he may come back or he might not. But whatever happens, you're going to be fine because you're overcoming the hell in you. You're overcoming the darkness. Right now, you don't know God. You didn't know about him. You read about him. You heard about him. And knowing about God is not knowing God. It's just like knowing about Martin Luther King Jr., thinking that he's a conservative when he's a socialist. Can you hold for a minute?
Yes, sir.
Hold on. RebuildingTheMan.com. That's true. Thank you. I want to go quickly back to VICKY out of North Carolina. So VICKY's husband is working on himself, according to VICKY. He left. Now VICKY want to know, should I divorce? What should I do? VICKY.
Sir?
So don't divorce. Forget about divorce for now and just work on you. Let him be gone and work on himself and let God's will be done.
Okay. I still have the question, though, since when he did step out of the marriage before, is that grounds for divorce?
No.
I mean, biblically, or no?
No.
Okay. I mean, in the way I was brought up, and I'm not saying it's correct, but the way I was brought up was you don't divorce. I mean, so that's why I'm struggling with him leaving.
But there is a time for divorce and there's a time to forgive, right? For right now, since you're not sure what to do, it's best to do nothing but work on you. Do you understand that you got to overcome your hell, that you were already screwed up before he met you?
Yes. Yeah, I understand, and I take accountability for my stuff as well. Yes, I understand that.
And do you know that the Bible says if the other person wants to leave, let them go?
Yes.
So if the Bible said let him go, let him go. And don't even think about it and just work on you to overcome your hell. Don't think about him at all. Just wish him well so that you can work on you. And if he should come back, both you'll be working on yourself. You said he was working on himself. Everything will be fine. Or whatever will happen, you'll be fine with it.
Okay.
And God did not
All right.
give you a husband that you would have to call the police on.
So when you say that, are you telling me that this marriage is doomed from the beginning, or are you saying that it can turn around? Because when you made that comment just now, I did have hope and faith that, if we both work on ourselves, potentially something may, come out of it. Don't know, leave it alone, let go and let God.
God would
But
not
that
give you a
comment-
husband that you would have to call the police on. God does not give imperfect gifts. Human beings give imperfect gifts. Your parents give imperfect gifts. God does not. So this idea that your husband is from God is an illusion. You're not from God to him, and he's not from God to you.
Oh, okay. So I'm even more lost now with you saying that than you telling me that, obviously I need to work on myself. He needs to work on himself. And then what will be is meant to be pretty much.
Right. Once you work on you, and you said he's working on himself, whatever happens, you'll be able to handle it. If he come back, it'll be fine. If he doesn't, it'll still be fine. But right now, because you're disconnected from God, your life is not fine. You're not at peace.
But if he does, will God be in it at that point and it be ordained by him?
If you work on you, and he's working on himself, and he should come back, it will be. If he stays, it'll be fine. If he doesn't, it'll be fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Are you going to forgive your mother?
Yes, sir.
And when you see your husband, will you apologize to him for the hell you brought upon him? Because it has not been easy living with you.
I can take accountability for my actions. I would hope he would take accountability for his own as well.
Am I right in that it has not been easy living with you?
I mean, I think we both have had issues. It was not easy living with me when I was asking, for alcohol to be put aside.
Am I right in that when I say it has not been easy living with you?
You're right.
Right. So you need to, when you see him again, apologize. Husband, I was wrong. I've been awful person to live with. Because you become just like your mother, and you drove the man to alcohol. He didn't know.
He didn't
know how. He didn't know how to deal with you, and he probably come from other relationship with women just like you, and he just didn't know how to deal with you.
Sir, he actually apologized to me. He said he thought he made me his God. He was seeking something from a past marriage, and
good for him. But have you apologized for what you've done to him?
I have, but not on specifics of what you're talking about as far as living with me was, hell. No, right. I didn't say that. I've apologized.
Why not?
I didn't know I was supposed to.
Why not? You're not supposed to apologize, bringing hell upon your family?
Well, I apologize for, certain situations that have happened. I always come back and apologize for that type of stuff.
But you do it again. You apologize, but you repeat it. You say, I'm sorry, but you really didn't mean it. You didn't mean it, because if you meant it, you would not have done it again.
my actions are generally a reaction to his action.
That's an excuse.
I can see to where you know, it comes across as an excuse.
No, it
and
is
I
an
figure-
excuse. You're making excuses.
Well, I figured that since the drinking had stopped, which was honestly most of what caused hell in this house.
No,
to
that's
begin
not what
with.
alcohol did not call hell in the house. You had the hell in you, and he had the hell in himself, and that's what caused the hell. Alcohol did not have anything to do with it. You're trying to control him by making him not drink, and that's a problem.
Well, he stopped drinking on his own.
Right,
when
but
he
you
started
tried.
talking to you.
But he didn't stop when you were trying to make him stop. You were playing mama.
You're correct. I did.
You need to
You're
apologize.
absolutely correct. I did. I did not like seeing him curled up in the floor, in fetal position or be sick the whole next day. Yes, sir.
But it had nothing to do with you.
I know, but when
So you owe him an
again-
apology.
Okay.
And so because of time, I got to run, but you need to forgive your mother and your father when you say you forgive your father. And do the silent prayer. Leave your husband alone. Work on you and let God's will be done.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed day.
And don't be bugging him. Don't be calling him. And when he come back, don't be accusing him.
Yes, sir.
And
Thank you.
that makes sense?
Yes, sir, it does.
Do you disagree
I appreciate
with
your time.
Do you disagree with any of that? Am I wrong?
I don't think you're wrong. I'm just trying to wrap my head around everything the best I can. A lot of it's very new to me.
What? So forgiving your mother so God can forgive you. Can you wrap your head around that?
Yes, sir.
Doing the silent prayer.
I know that's the first step. I'm already doing the silent prayer.
Okay, then.
He did tell me about that, and I started doing the silent prayer and trying to let go of my anger. I am working on that.
Okay, and then leave him alone. Let him work his issues out without calling him or accusing him or anything. Can you wrap your head around that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So if you just work on you, be glad. Don't be glad he gone. Meaning, don't worry about it. Just let him go work his life out. You work on you and let God's will be done. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Let me know how it goes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
You too. Oh, amazing! It's Tuesday again. Amazing. We just had a Tuesday. What the? But it's Tuesday again. And every Tuesday, for those who are really enjoying the country and western music, I saw, I think it was on, it may have been on Joe L. Friday TV on yesterday. He black. Or maybe I saw it on the local news, or both. They had some type of award show over the weekend, I guess. And they had a segment in there for the best country and western performer or singer or whatever. Guess who got who they gave the trophy to, the award to, or whatever they gave away? To a person that couldn't sing country and western if she had to. And when they gave it to her, I knew it was a DEI giveaway. They got all these white singing, real country and western people in the country singing country and western music. And guess who they gave it to? Because she decided she wanted to be a part of it, because I believe because that's where the money is. I could be wrong. But guess who they gave the best country and western award, so-called award, to? Beyonce. They gave it to Beyon-Z, and Beyon-Z ain't even no country and western singer. She just happened to be black, and they gave it to her. And I saw the disappointment on at least one of the country and western singer females. Oh, Joel Friday telling me now She won the best country and western album. White people, when will y'all stop? When will you stop being afraid of the blacks? You're hurting them. Now I know something the politician whites, Republican, right-o Republican, and the Democrats are using the blacks. I know they are doing it, but when will normal white people stop it? Y'all had no business giving that gal a country and western album, best country and western. You know that wasn't real. She can't even say, Lord, I was born a traveling man, hanging around and doing the best I can. Can you believe that? I was like, what the? So the anchor baby is telling me in her so-called country album, she writes about racism. No wonder. I heard it in one of her songs, in one song. She writes about racism. No wonder the white one. That's all you got to say. And the white people going to let it go. You just put racism in there. And the whites are on the run, nowhere to hide, and they run. I gotta run, I gotta hide, I gotta find a place to be free again. The white people gave in again. Beyonce can't sing no country and western music? What? And the only reason she's getting away with the other kind of music, she's naked all the time. If it weren't for her being naked, she would get nowhere. And you gave up the country and it's over. I thought it was bad enough when you gave up America to a so-called black president, Obama. You've given up country and western music. What? And nothing left now. Grandpa, tell me about the good old days. But anyway, I went off the path a little bit there. I was stunned. Not really stunned by it, but stunned. But not really, but stunned. Amazing. Thank you.
Calvin from Ohio. Jesse, for you to comment on how much Beyonce
Beyon-Z
didn't deserve that award shows how misinformed you are. Country has never been a white thing historically. She showed appreciation to her roots, seeing as though she is a country girl from Houston. You are very wrong and disrespectful for the comments you made. Says Calvin in Ohio to JLP.
Country and western music, not black music, man. Is that a man?
Yeah.
He said what?
He said it's never been a white thing historically.
That's not true. It's been white. It was white first. I used to, as a kid, we can only get country and western music, and they were all white. There was no black in country and western.
Yep.
It was all white. And then later in years, you'll see one or two black people doing country and western.
Sensible ones like Darius Rucker.
That guy.
Yeah. Hootie and the Blowfish guy.
Right. But what's his name?
Calvin from Ohio.
Calvin. No, I don't know where you get that from, that country and western has been black. That is not true. And I got proof for you. I want to play soundbite. What's happening?
We're going to break.
How are we going to break? It's the middle of the thing.
I don't know why he put it up there like that.
Are we at the bottom of the
Yeah,
top?
we're at the bottom of the hour.
What the?
Is it more off than even before?
What? It's like way off now. It used to be at near the bottom.
Right.
Well, I tried resetting it, but I thought you said I got it.
You got what?
The breaks. 10 seconds.
What?
You told me I got it. Nick, the anchor baby's got it. That's what you said.
Well, I didn't know you were going to go up there and do that to the clock. I have an idea of what it is, right? But you threw me all the way off. Back in a moment, folks. Back in a moment. In response to this person saying that country and western was was for white people, and Beyon-Z went back to her roots. That is not true, and I got proof. I want you to watch the heartbreak in this kid's face when he found out Beyonce won Best Country Album of the Year. Watch this from X.
Okay, do you know who won Best Country Artist or Country Album of the Year for the 2025 Grammys last night?
Hardy?
No.
Margot Almond?
No.
Ella Langley?
No.
Riley Green?
No.
Luke Combs?
Nope.
Bailey Zimmerman?
Nope.
Teddy Swims?
No.
Thomas Rhett?
No.
Let me think. What's her name? Megan Moroney?
No.
I give up.
Do you want me to tell you?
Sure.
Beyonce.
Oh my God.
She's not even country!
Yep.
Wow.
That's how I feel about it. Now, that doesn't says all about it. Yeah, I don't know what it is. So I don't know where you get this idea that country and western were black and Beyonce going back to her root. That is not true. That kid named all the country and western people, but none was Beyonce. Not one.
And Houston is not very country anymore. It may have started out as a country place. It is city now. It's terrible.
Amazing. So, but thank you, though. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you,
To
Calvin.
To the super chat.
Yes. Shout out to Calvin in Ohio.
I want once again to encourage you to have a little space between you and the great white hope, Donald Trump. Have a little space and observe him. Just watch him without judgment. You should do that, period, in whole life anyway, but I know you're not going to do that. But watch Donald Trump without judging with thoughts, eyes, words, gestures, or feelings, emotions. Just watch him and see what you see. He is dealing with life in the way that all human beings should do, but not going to do. But those who are men and women who are working on overcoming, you stay with it. Donald Trump is dealing with life. Think about all the stuff he went through prior to election, and he just, no fear. No fear, no word about what you or anyone else thought about him, not even thinking about that. There's something there. Why don't you watch? And it's good. And it's driving his enemies insane. They're still trying to call him names. They're still trying to say he's Hitler. They haven't learned anything because they're lost. Who are you more concerned about what they think about you? God or human beings? God forgives, human beings don't. God forget, human beings don't. Who are you most concerned about? Who are you most afraid of? Why don't you take control of your own life? And because the world is of the Old Testament, and all you see is mass destruction. And it's going to get worse. I'm looking at, and we have that coming up for you, but I'm looking at these people protesting downtown LA on yesterday. Apparently they did it Sunday. We had that soundbite. And they did it yesterday. They all in the freeway, on the freeway, in the way. And you know why they're protesting? They don't want Donald Trump to send the illegals back to their country, people who broke the law to get here. And these same people want to stay in America, want to be in America, and they carry a Mexican flag. Trying to protect lawbreakers while carrying a Mexican flag and saying that they want to be in America. Grandpa, tell me about the good old days. The world gone crazy. And in New York, the Democrats have, but that's how you are in your life too. You don't learn anything unless you're clearly working on yourself and you start to see. These people have lost the election, and they lost by a great number. And in New York, they still want hospitals to perform. They still want hospitals to end, telling hospitals ending gender-affirming, whatever that means. A gender-affirming care for youth could be a violation. In New York, they haven't gotten the message yet, but you don't either. Don't you go to the ladies, when you break up with one husband, don't you go and find another husband who is the same kind of a person? There's nothing different about him. And men, don't you go and find, you break up with one wife, don't you go and find another wife who is the same? You don't learn anything. Friends, so-called friendships and familyships, you go and find the same thing over and over and over again. You don't learn because you're blind and cannot see. So, in spite of losing in a major deal, the Democrats are still lost. They don't know what to do. They are blind and cannot see. According to ABC 7, New York AG, Attorney General, warned hospital ending gender-affirming care for youth could be a violation of state law. Watch this from ABC 7.
Attorney General is warning hospitals they may be violating state law if they follow President Trump's executive order to end gender-affirming medical care for transgender youth. The letter from AG Letitia James says denying care could be considered discrimination. Hospital systems such as NYU Langone began canceling appointments for some children, according to a report from the New York Times. Trump's order threatens to withhold funding from hospitals that provide gender-affirming treatments to people under 19.
Amazing, huh? They don't care. Look what they got for the attorney general. That female doesn't know what she's doing. She black. She has no clue how to be an attorney general. You gave over America to a person like that, and then you gave away country and Western music to Beyon-Z. My country is gone. Sorry. Now, I believe that Trump is going to, we'll see, but I believe he's going to make living a little easier for American citizens by, right now it's been reported that they have America has total control of the borders now. They shut it down overnight. Donald Trump hasn't been in there for, what, how long now, Nick? 2 weeks?
Yeah, let's call it 2 weeks.
But that's not what it is.
It is.
Oh, okay.
A little more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a little more.
And he shut down the border already. And then Mexico was like, I don't care about no, I ain't gonna do no terror. We ain't gonna do, I ain't a so-called female president in Mexico. Can you believe that? I ain't doing no The mafia must really love her. I'm not doing a chair with you, Donald Trump. You can't. You know that. And then she turned around playing. And Donald Trump, you need to watch him. All you need to do is just watch. I can imagine, using the imagination for a minute, that when Christ walked the earth, some people just observed him. And when they observed him, they knew who he were. They may not have understood his whole mission, but they knew there was something amazing and differently that was good about him. Likewise with Donald Trump. Can you imagine this female, a so-called attorney general, is telling the hospital, according to this report, you may be in violation of the law if you stop doing this crazy stuff, surgery on little children, gender-affirming, whatever that means. She doesn't care. This kind of woman is the type of females that run hoods in the black areas. And you elected her as a so-called attorney general. You gave up your country. Obama wasn't enough for you. The fallen Messiah and Big Michelle wasn't enough. You wanted more. And I mentioned this, they had this rally down in L.A., downtown L.A., on Sunday, and another one yesterday. And they are rallying against Donald Trump, making America great again, bringing everything to order. They love disorder because they can bring all their family members and everybody else just right across the borders. So they held a rally carrying, it was bad enough that they were trying to protect lawbreakers, but it's even worse, they had Mexican flags. It's a spiritual battle, folks. When will you take responsibility for your own life? Lots of the time, thousands of protesters rallied in downtown Los Angeles on Saturday against President Trump's crackdown on illegals. Watch this from KTLA.
Hundreds seen taking over the freeway and marching in the streets of downtown LA, protesting President Donald Trump's policies regarding immigration and deportations.
Us as Latinas, Latinos, us as Hispanics, it's scary for everybody. We don't know the future.
Since his first day back in office, Trump has signed a flurry of executive orders, giving the military a greater presence at the U.S.-Mexico border and the reduction of restrictions previously levied against immigration and customs enforcement. While many immigrants fear for the deportation of families and children, the president says he's targeting dangerous and heinous individuals that the administration is removing from the American communities.
Take the family and children back too. And that's because it's the children. We care about the children. No, you don't. You don't care about the children. You're lying. And when you're crying, you're lying. When she's crying, she's lying. Think about that. And then I'm wondering now, how is it that all these people can protest in America and try to tell the American government what to do and not to do, but they can't do the same thing in their own country and make their own country better? How is that? You are brave enough to go up against Donald Trump, but not brave enough to go up against the so-called president in your own country? Make your own country better. Go over there and protest on their freeways, if they have freeways. I think they may still have dirt roads. Think about that. Hake is telling me that he heard, this is from Hake, I haven't heard about this. He heard on a report on the radio. On the radio! that somebody got hit and killed walking on the freeway. Because I can see that happening because a lot of people, most people have anger, nearly all people. And they get frustrated right away. They already feel with anger and easy for that rage to come and just run over them. They should not be controlled by anger, but that's what will happen. So I'm not surprised to hear that. But just think about this. They are marching in the streets of the United States, but not in Mexico, a place that they're supposed to be running from. Why are you not brave enough to march in Mexico? Here's some of the comments from some of the so-called protesters. Watch this.
But we've seen nearly 1,000 deportations daily, a fear for many.
We've seen it already a bunch of times all over, so he doesn't care. We need to be treated like humans. And, you know,
Tell
we're
Mexico
being treated
that.
inhumanely. My parents came here at the age of 18, and I feel like it's only right for my siblings and I to take advantage of their struggles, and I feel like that's for everyone here too. We have a voice, and I think it's only right we use it for our parents and our grandparents.
And say they'll continue to resist deportations.
Use your voice, make a difference. Y que viva la raza.
Oh, she must be. Is she Mexican? I think so. She is Mexican. She looked like a Chinese or something. But she spoke Spanish or something, right?
Sometimes they look like that.
Like that?
Yeah, sometimes the Mexicans can look a little Asian.
Maybe the Chinese people got while crossing the border from China to Mexico to here, they made a little stop off.
Yeah, I don't think. She might have a little Asian in there.
When I come back, your phone calls and your super chat. Grandpa, this is inhumane. Go over to Mexico and protest and tell your government that. Don't tell our government. We're sending you back home. It's the right thing to do.
Well, I think that there is no intelligence. I think that we're all stupid. The intelligence makes you stupid. And I was pondering, I've been doing a lot of research on ADHD and autism because my son's autistic, and I'm realizing that I have ADHD, and it was never diagnosed. I had a really hard time in school growing up. I was at the 4th grade reading level most of my life until I was in my 20s and started. I learned more out of school than in school. And I had a really hard time. I just couldn't pay attention. I couldn't withhold the information. And I was told most of my life that I was stupid. And I actually think that it did me better because I think that if you think that you're stupid, you're actually find out you're smarter than most people.
And so you said you had something called ADHD?
ADHD.
Oh, and what does that mean?
What
does that mean? Those letters. ADHD, what does that mean?
It's a attention deficit disorder. So it's like with hyper, I guess it shows up differently in girls. It's where you see more of a hair twirling and you go off into your imagination more, which makes sense because you're against the imagination. And I think that it's part of my problem is my whole life I kept going into my imagination and I just could not pay attention, and school bored me. We just learned different, and in school you just...
And so they call that a medical problem?
Yeah, it's like a learning problem.
But why? And so they're saying that it's a medical problem because other kids don't have that?
I think a majority of kids actually do have it, and we just didn't know. It just shows up in boys more.
No, I'm asking, are they saying that it's a medical problem because there are kids who are interested in certain classes, and then there are kids who are not interested?
Well, I guess it is like I don't know what the hell it is. I guess.
I was gonna say my god brother, he has it.
Yeah.
This is my producer, Derek.
All right.
He has what?
Yeah.
ADHD.
And what is that?
Attention deficit disorder.
Is that a problem? Is that like a medical problem?
Yeah, they claim it is.
And is
You
it
know,
based on the fact? But I don't understand how that could be a medical problem when there are kids who don't like school or don't like certain classes. And they may not be interested in that. How is that a medical problem?
Yeah, they say it's a medical problem because you go
Who
to the
said it?
doctor and the doctors, the people in the medical field, they claim it is. You go to the doctor and you get diagnosed with this stuff. And when kids get in class, they have a hard time focusing on pretty much anything.
But when I was growing up, they didn't have no HD thing. And I wasn't interested in classes.
Yeah.
There were some classes I liked, but I never really did very well in class. I made an A once in the whole time I was in school. And that was an accident because of true and false tests.
Yeah.
And then there were some kids in the class that seemed to be really smart. As a matter of fact, my best friend was like, that's all he did was study. And he became a doctor. But they didn't have no ADHD. It's like, okay, you didn't like the class, you're not interested. But I did other things very well.
Yeah,
and
but
they didn't call it no medical problem. How could that be a medical problem?
But the food is different.
What?
The food that we consume today is different.
And that made you HD?
That's what they say. Red 7, yellow 40, stuff like that. I don't know if you've heard of that.
No.
Oh, yeah, it's like different color chemicals in the food today, and it affects the children's
It makes you not. But kids are naturally not interested in certain things. That's why for boys in school, you have to be working with your hands. They teach you hand stuff to do because you don't want to sit down and do English all day or typing. Whereas the girls, they love English and typing.
That's true. And then kids don't get whooped today like they used to, so they don't have that fear. So they go and do what they want.
And so they can have ADHD?
Yeah, I think it's an excuse, but I
So,
don't know.
Brandon, you believe you have ADHD?
Yeah, some of the studying that I've been doing on it, I have like a lot of the traits that they say run in females. And I'm pretty sure I'm autistic too because, like I was telling you, I don't really have friends and I really don't like friends. And I guess
what
the
does that
part
have
of
to
the
do with
autism part.
there's no
Autistic people don't like socializing with people. Like I was telling you, like I'm like bummed that I have no friends, but I realize
But there's no such thing as friends.
Yeah, I don't.
You're fortunate
I don't have
that
friends.
you don't have friends.
I don't even like them.
But why
I mean,
is that
I consider you guys my friends, but
why is that a medical problem then?
well, they say it's supposed to be. My son, he doesn't care to have friends either. He's just an independent guy. Like he likes hanging out by himself and doing his own thing.
But why are you calling it a medical problem?
That's what they call it.
But
That's
why
what
are you
doctors call
following
it.
that? I'm not a doctor, so I'm not giving you medical advice. But why are you believing stuff like that? Why don't you just live your own life and don't be comparing yourself to anybody? And just, are you doing the silent prayer?
Yeah, I have been.
Are you doing the silent prayer?
Yes.
Are you doing the silent prayer every morning, every day, every night?
Yes.
You're not
Even
being honest.
like in the middle of the night.
You're not
yeah,
being
even in the middle of the
honest.
night.
You said, I have been.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I stop and then I have to get back on
You
track.
said, I have been. You're not doing it.
Yeah, I've been doing it.
You're not
But
doing
there are
it.
times
I
like-
have been and doing it are two different things.
I find myself
Are you
falling off
doing
track
the
and then I have to
silent
get
prayer?
back on track.
Are you doing the silent prayer every morning, every night?
Yes.
Are you doing the silent prayer every morning, every night?
Yes.
Are you doing the silent prayer every morning, every night?
Yes.
And what do you-
Actually, at least 3 times a day,
And what do
even
you-
maybe more.
And what do you mean by I have been?
Because there's times in my life that I fall off track and then I don't do it, and then I have to catch myself and get back on track of doing it. And when I fall off track, I go into my hell and I get into my thoughts and I become a mess again. But then I jump back on track and like, oh, that's why I'm in my hell is because I stopped doing it. So
And yet
I've been working on it.
Well, stay with it, Brandon. What the? You have to
Yeah,
forget. You have to remember not to forget.
Yeah.
I hate not doing it because I do go into my hell and in my imagination.
And you love it?
For sure. Actually, I hate it.
So you do love it. If you hate it, you love it.
What? What the?
HDD kicking in. If you hate it,
Yes,
you
it
love
is.
it.
I guess. I'm addicted to my hell, I guess. Like that one girl was saying the other day, she's like addicted.
Amazing. Well, I recommend do what you want, but I recommend you practice being present.
I'm trying.
All right.
It's I'm just so used to being in my hell. It's like hard to come out sometimes. But I've been doing the silent prayer, and I can see that.
Well, stop identifying with the hell. Don't call it you anymore.
Yes, I've been catching that too. Like, oh, I need to stop calling it me.
Yeah.
Like, I really should probably just stop saying I have ADHD and autism too.
If you
I
know
think
what-
maybe it's more of a personality trait. You know, you trick your personality.
Why call it anything?
That's true.
No, that was a question.
I guess the world programs you to do that.
And how long will you allow yourself to be programmed by the world?
I think I should stop now.
And why don't you?
I don't know.
You-
I have to ponder it.
all right, let me know.
Okay, I'll call you back.
All right. Thanks for responding
All right.
to the biblical question, Brandi.
No worries. Thank you for the biblical question.
Right on. Amazing. Thank
You're
you.
amazing.
Amazing.
Bye.
Thank you. So I want to play something for you really fast, and I want my producer to explain it to me. I'm black and slow, and you all probably get it. All right. This is from a commercial. It's a so-called anti-Semitism commercial. This is from X. Billionaire patriot owner Robert Kraft paid for a new Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady Super Bowl LIX commercial addressing anti-Semitism. Watch this from X.
I hate you because we're from different neighborhoods.
I hate you because you look different.
I hate you because I don't understand you.
I hate you because people I know hate you.
I hate you because I think you hate me.
Because I need someone to blame.
Because you talk different.
Because you act different.
Because you're just different. Man, I hate that things are so bad that we have to do a commercial about it.
Me too.
Stand up to hate. So,
Stand up to all hate. Hashtag stand up to all hate.
And so where there, thank you, Nick. I sure didn't see it. Where is the anti-Semitism in that?
They definitely.
Jay, get the phone for Daniel and Terry. He come out.
There definitely wasn't any in there, but the
But
thing.
why do you say it's an anti-Semitism commercial?
It was funded by the some anti-Semitism organization.
It was funded by who? What's the name of the group?
See, the name. It was. What was the name of it?
Is
it was
it
at
this
the
one
end of the
paid
clip.
for by? It says
Yeah.
right here, paid for by Foundation to Combat Anti-Semitism.
Right.
Oh.
StandUpToAllHate.org.
Oh, I
Right.
see.
And that logo, that's like, I've seen that logo around.
Let me go out and get the phone. I'll be right back. I told Hate.
Hold on, let me go out there.
Huh?
Let me go out there.
Okay. Thank you. But I don't get in what they were saying to each other, the Snoop Dogg and the Tom guy, what was in it that was anti-Semitism? I didn't hear anything about anti-Semitism.
So when Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady were going at it with each other, it's supposed to reflect how us as people, regular people, are attacking each other or really attacking the Jews, you know.
So when we're attacking each other, we're attacking the Jews?
Not necessarily.
Because what they were displaying is all people.
Yeah.
All people hate one another.
Mm-hmm.
Or hate, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so how is that anti-Semitism? I'm not getting it. It wasn't just saying, well, I hate you, the Jew. I hate you, to this, the Jewish. It sounds like an ad that applied to all human beings.
Yeah.
Because all human beings have hatred.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were kind of generalizing it.
Oh.
But the thing is, at the end, you would see, you know, who's
Who's
funding it.
Oh,
and
I
then you
got
see
you.
the logo, and then you get to thinking, oh, okay, I know what's going on here. This is an ad from this organization who's trying to show us what we look like.
Oh,
you know,
I got
between,
you.
you know, Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady.
And what is Super Bowl LIX?
Oh, Super Bowl.
Commercial.
That.
What's
so this
the
is supposed to be.
LIS? What does that mean?
Oh, those are Roman numerals for 59.
Oh, that's what LIS means?
Yeah.
Oh, and the Super Bowl LIX.
Yeah, 59. It's supposed to be, I think, this Saturday, Super Bowl.
So this will make their, what, 59 Super Bowl thing?
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Are you a big football guy?
What?
Are you a big football guy?
No.
No?
I don't even know how to play it. I don't even know what it means.
You didn't play growing up?
No, we didn't have a football team.
Really? What y'all play?
We played basketball and track. I ran track, and I played some basketball. And then we had baseball.
Oh, okay.
We played baseball a lot.
Oh.
But we didn't have a football thing. I didn't even know anything about football. It was stupid to see people running after a football. I was like, where you going?
Yo.
To get the football.
What?
And why are you hurting somebody trying to get a ball?
They're gladiators.
Okay.
You had a football team?
I used to play football.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, but I fractured my femur playing football.
Your what?
My femur.
Oh, and what, did you play quarterback?
I was receiver.
Oh, were you good at it?
I was good, but I broke my femur.
And then you had to stop playing?
I had to stop playing.
Why you didn't go back?
I broke my leg. The fear.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh.
The biggest bone in your body. I broke it.
Oh, okay. Well, God bless you. Also, Derek, before I let you go, I get to the calls. There was a Delta flight diverted because of order. This is from Fox News. Passengers on board of a Delta airline flight from New York City to Orlando were diverted to Raleigh due to an order in the cabin. Airline official confirmed. What was the order?
I was reading the report, and they didn't say.
Oh, did I say?
They didn't say. So it could be a fart.
A what?
Could be a fart.
What the?
I mean, it could be just, maybe they smelled gas.
So we really don't know what it was.
So we really don't know.
And it must have been pretty bad if they had to divert the flight.
Had to.
To another city.
Yes, and this is
There's always something going on with the airline now.
You never had an odor so bad it'll divert a flight? Coming out of you? Oh.
Unless it must be some type of gas order or something on the plane.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll keep looking at it.
Okay, we don't know. We just don't know. I don't want to make up anything.
Yeah.
But the interesting part about this, and there's a lot going on with the flights now. And then they tell you, oh, it's okay to fly. Flying is still safe. But yet every day you're having some issue with flying.
Yeah.
Sion, I wish you well. She's about to take a flight from Africa back to the USA.
Whew.
That's a long flight, huh?
Better.
Thank you, Derek. My producer, folks. Let me hear from my producer. I appreciate it.
Let me get a sound effect. All right,
Good thing they only have the best pilots doing those transatlantic flights.
I think I'm on to something here. And I think I may be the first one to mention this. Let it be known, let it be said, let it be heard. The Democratic Party will never come back again. is gone. Let it be written, let it be known, let it be said. It's over for the Democratic Party, and I have proof. I'm like, what the? It's over for the Democratic Party. And the reason I say that is because I've come to realize, it occurred to me, that the Democratic Party is now controlled by black women, black females. And these black females are nasty. They hate white people. They don't care what they say to white people, what they do, it doesn't matter. And they have been given the fake power of taking over the Democratic Party because they know that white people are afraid of them. Not because and they know the Democrats don't love them. Liberal whites don't love them. They're afraid of them. And they have allowed these blacks to take over. And there's some black males, too, in the Democratic Party that's controlled, but even the black female control them. But the Democratic Party has been taken over by black women, and as a result, it's never coming back again. You can relax now. There are no competition. And these black women are out of control in the Democratic Party. Not just the black women, but the black males too. And they are going to run, and they are running the Democratic Party like they run the hood, black hoods, into the ground. It's over for the Democratic Party. They elected a new Democratic chair and vice chairperson, and it was a mess. It was if this is not enough proof for you to know that the Democratic Party is gone and it's been taken over by black females, I don't know what else more proof you're going to need. Let it be written, let it be said, let it be heard. It's over for the Democratic Party. Because the liberal white Democrats are afraid of the black, and they know it, especially the black woman, the black female. ABC 7. Democrats on Saturday elected Ken Martin, the party leader in Minnesota, as the national chair. Watch this from ABC 7. This is a mess. Watch this.
New leader of Democratic National Committee, and he is vowing to fight against President Trump. Ken Martin is from Minnesota and was the Democratic Farmer Labor Party chairman. He spoke to supporters yesterday after he was elected and said the party must move forward.
It's time to get off the mat, to dust ourselves off, and to get back in this fight.
Both former President Biden and former Vice President Harris made videos to show the DNC members saying they need to fight for the future. School shooting survivor David Hogue is now the vice chair of the Democratic National Committee. Hogue, who is now 24, was a student at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School when a shooter killed 17 people. He's campaigned over the years for more restrictive gun laws, but in December ran for the DNC with the goal of targeting younger voters.
The vice chair and the chair might as well put on black faces. They might as well go and put on black faces and be black because they're weak. They're not going to be able to function unless they cater to the blacks first. During the audition to run the DNC, I want you to hear what's the first question. First question. Watch this from X.
So I'm going to, I have a show of hands. How many of you believe that racism and misogyny played a role in Vice President Harris's defeat?
All of them.
Okay. So that's good. You all passed.
I got y'all. That's so wicked and sad. You almost want to boo-hoo. They all raise their hands to a wicked question like that. I got y'all. Even if they don't, the white ones, even if they don't mean it, they got to say it. Can you imagine that's being the first question? Here's the second question.
Will you pledge to appoint more than one transgender person to an at-large seat, and will you commit to making sure those appointments reflect the gender and ethnic diversity of the transgender community?
Since Carol wanted to ask us if would everybody here commit to that, or is there anyone who wouldn't? Raise your hand if you would commit to what she just asked. Okay.
Even the males raise their hands. It's over. It's controlled by the blacks. Black females especially. That was from X. What type of debate is this, or picking a leader is this? How is this going to make... This is why the people voted against the Democrats. And they're going to turn around and do the same thing over. That's what happens when you're blind. You can't see. The Democratic Party is now quickly becoming a hood. This is what it looked like in the black neighborhoods. These people don't know how to run a party. They can't even run a family. They can't run a neighborhood. They can't run a business. How will they run a country? With those kind of stupid questions, they should have given that guy like, what kind of question is that? That's a dumb question. Trump would have said it. That's a stupid question. No. Say just laughing, I got you. One Democrat began her opening statement, Lord have mercy. Black people, what's wrong with the blacks? What's wrong with the blacks? After all this time. One Democrat began her open statement with a song. They love to sing and dance.
And we'll begin with the opening statements. Each candidate will have 30 seconds, and we'll start with Dr. Quintessa Hathaway.
Good evening, everyone. It is my desire to be the next DNC chair, and I just want to give you all a little bit of something that's been on my heart here over the last couple of days. You fight on, you fight on, you fight on, you fight on. When your government is doing you wrong, you fight on, oh, you fight on.
And they applaud. A few.
Thank you,
Some
thank
people
you,
like,
Dr. Hathaway.
And she's a Dr. Hathaway. No way, as the anchor baby said. What the black people? Stop it. What's wrong with the blacks? Are the blacks cursed? She's running for, she wanted to be the chair. And she started out with a stupid song. And you think singing wasn't bad enough. They start dancing. Watch this. Talking about taking care of business, huh? Oh, they're working hard. They started dancing. At an event meeting where they're trying to decide who's going to run the next, who's going to run the Democratic Party next. You fight on, you fight on. And she wanted to be the one. There was a white woman there, and she had a good idea. What's this?
If I'm your chair, I'm going to be very honest. And if we're going to be very honest, we have to look in the mirror, and we have to stop some of our hypocrisy. And one of our issues of hypocrisy is about money. We have to recognize that people see us as hypocrites.
What happened?
That's the clip.
That's it?
If I'm your chair, I'm going to be very honest.
Yeah, that's the clip.
Oh, that was, what's her name?
Marianne Williamson.
Oh, Lord, poor Marianne. She ain't giving up.
Derek, that was the clip, right? Or did I mess up? Oh, yeah, that was it. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. It was short. And then, if that wasn't bad enough, this says it all. This says it all. A black lady took the stage. All this is from X. Here's what she had to say.
Hello, Democrats. Hey, I am speaking, and I would love your attention. There is a black woman at this podium, and I deserve your attention like the 11 people who went before me. Yes, I am speaking.
They should have turned her mic off. A black woman speaking. I deserve your attention. What an ego, huh? But the Democratic Party have made blacks feel this way. Believe that they were special. What a mess. I'm speaking. They should have turned them back and everybody walked out. Okay, you gonna speak. We out of here. Black woman, you deserve to be heard. The Democratic Party is over. It is now being controlled by black females. And there's no hope. No hope for the Democratic Party to ever return. Most people have already forgotten what the original Democratic Party was even like. You're not going to have any real knowing of what the Democratic Party stood for at one time, or at least that they stood for. It's over. It's been taken over by the blacks. Black females especially. Remember I told you this? You heard it here first. Just like for the last 35 years, I've been telling white people they need to speak up. 35 years ago, I'm like, you're under attack. 35 years ago, I said it. $35 years, and look what happened. It wasn't a lie, it was the truth. Nobody listened. 888-7753-773. Goodbye, Democratic Party. The black females have taken over. They're going to do exactly what they've done in the homes. Destroyed the children. They are destroying the Democratic Party. I got to put this out there just to hear so I can hear some feedback from y'all about it. What you think about this? What you think about, and I don't know what Hake think about it either. Do you remember when you first learned to swim? Did you just walk into the water on your own, or did someone throw you in there? Or got in with you and just let you float around by yourself and scared the heebie-jeebies out of you? I want you to watch this parent, I guess it's a parent, teaching the child how to swim, and I want to know if you think this is fine or not. Watch this from X. Wow.
baby. You got it. I'm right here, baby. You got it. You got it, love. That's so good. You take me all the way to the deep end. Let's get you to the shallow end. Good job, baby. Good job, boy. That was so good.
Amazing. What do you think about that, Anchor Baby?
Kid's fine. Look at him. He's crying, meaning he can breathe. You know how they say, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. You can hear him crying. That means he's breathing. He's fine. Learning how to swim.
Really? What do you think about that hake of the hake report?
Okay, so I saw this on silent before, and it seemed totally fine. The kid seemed relatively chill. But now when I hear him crying, it's a little bit disturbing. But I like how the mother's handling it. The mother's handling it pretty calmly. But I don't know. That's not how I learned to swim. I learned to swim by like crawling along the side, and then eventually like baby steps, not just dropping me in. So I'm not sure what to think. I'm slightly disturbed, and yet I'm also slightly impressed, somewhat impressed.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you're disturbed and impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Two for the price of one.
It's kind of like mildly attractive, but also mildly repulsive. Horrific.
Amazing.
But shout out to the mother. I mean, it's good to learn to swim.
There is my producer telling me chat is saying call child services.
Chat's always looking to the government.
And Joel Friday is saying they do this for the sake of a child fall into the pool.
Yeah, in case a child falls into the pool, he'll know what to do somewhat.
Amazing.
Rather than just drown and die.
I don't believe in child abuse.
You don't believe in that there's such a thing?
No.
Nice.
But this is child abuse. This is child abuse. This is pure evil. This woman has traumatized this kid about swimming. This boy, I don't know if it was a boy or girl, but
Looked like a boy, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it seemed to be a boy, but he was coughing and afraid. He was crying.
Didn't even want to get in the first place.
Right, didn't want to get in there. He was fighting, trying to stay on float. That's not the way you teach somebody to swim.
It's not how I learned.
Me either. I remember we used to go to the creek. You ever swim in the creek?
The creek was never deep enough to swim in.
But the creek back down by the house in Alabama, it was deep enough. And then if there were me and others who did not know how to swim, they're like, come on in. But they would just throw you in the water.
You get in little by little.
You get in little by little. Then once you're in, you love it.
Yeah.
With no fear, no trauma.
Yeah.
This child been, whether boy or girl, been traumatized. The mother's evil for doing that. She got a thrill from that.
Dang.
This baby was trying hard to survive. That's fear.
Right.
That child wasn't enjoying swimming at all.
True.
She should at least put some of those balloon things under the and let him just kind of feel safe swimming back and forth, and eventually wean him off of that.
Yeah. And it's not like you don't know that you can't get in without those things.
Right.
Because you get a little taste of that sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
That woman,
it's very disturbing sometimes.
That woman's evil for doing that to that child. Where's your daddy?
Maybe he's the one recording it.
She should have gradually let him swim.
Yeah.
Feel it safe. Because you put the little bubble things on them, they will enjoy swimming back and forth. They won't feel as afraid.
True. Or let him crawl along this edge.
Right. And this child is like trying hard to hold up. And he was coughing and crying even when she pulled him up. She's like, good job. That wasn't a good job. What an evil lady.
The kid looks like he's been trained in that too. Like he knew what was coming because he knew to be like face up. So this is probably not his
turn
first time.
over.
They have classes on this. I've seen it. Like really, really young children and women that run these classes.
Whoa.
And they throw them in the pools. They teach them all this stuff, and they're always crying in those videos.
Oh, God.
This is like a whole thing.
And they love the thrill of seeing them cry.
And they're all, it's like
Joel
6 of
said-
them, and they come up, and they're like, and they're always like, great job, great job.
Joel said, this hateful rhetoric of the mother good deed.
Joel disavows it. The hateful rhetoric of towards the mother's good deed.
Yeah, he's saying the mother's good deed.
Yeah, you don't. You know
And
how
Dad
they.
agrees
There's a
with it.
saying.
Indeed, Joel.
There's a saying. You don't throw them into the deep end right off the bat.
Yeah, I learned on my own too.
I stayed in the shallow end.
What do me say?
Yeah, babies will do this naturally. I think he was responding to what I was saying. Some of these classes they do them with really young, with like little babies. Those don't cry. Those actually.
And they just throw them in the water like that.
They do all sorts of crazy things. They
People
like
are
flip
so
them in the
cruel.
water.
See how evil people are? They traumatize you for life, and then they wonder why. Why are you so bad now?
Yeah, they push you when you're not ready.
Yeah. What a mess. Okay.
Interesting.
So, huh?
Interesting.
So you intrigued and not intrigued.
Right. I was a little bit disturbed and a little bit impressed.
I was all the way disturbed and
Right
now
on.
impressed.
I guess I'm just charmed by and fooled by these women.
Evidently.
Terrible.
Yeah, he said that. Jared said hate was okay when you first heard it was silent.
Yeah.
And then you heard the baby cry.
And I'm
That
like,
made a difference. It was more dramatic to hear the sound because when I heard it this morning, I didn't hear the baby crying.
Right. And what did you think when you saw it just on silent?
I like, it seemed like it was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize the woman just threw him in there. I thought she put him in there.
Oh, yeah. No, she just dropped him in.
What an evil woman. Lord, have mercy. Who really cares? Who will save the world for the child that is destined to die?
Save the babies.
Save the babies. I want you, I would encourage you, do what you want, but I want to encourage you to keep a space between you and the great white hope. Have a wait-and-see attitude where the promises that he made during his campaign that he will make America great again. And I want you to notice the things that you're doing. And no matter what the liberal media or the conservative media says about him, you pay attention yourself to see if he's doing what he said he would do. And then watch without judgment, good or bad. Watch how he handle himself, how he deal with other people, how he deal with issues. And see if there's anything that you can observe from it that may help you. Instead of judging. Now, I know it's hard for you not to judge because angry people judge. They play God, so they can't help but judge. But pay attention. I believe today they're supposed to be signing or doing he's signing one of those things again saying that boys cannot play in women's sports or something like that. I hope in that it says that women cannot play in men's sport either. It goes both ways. If it doesn't cover women not playing in men's sport, it doesn't mean anything. But the president said that we are going to either own Gaza or have something to do with it to make it better. America going to clean it up and make Gaza better. And so I'm thinking, Mr. President, we're going to be like Rome. We're going to own the world. We're going to own the world. if everything goes the way the president wanted it to go, if it goes that way. And the liberals are having a hissy fit. The president is moving too fast. They're like, you moving too fast. We can't keep up. We're trying to complain about what you're doing. And every time we look around, you are doing something else. You're moving too fast. Fox News reporting, President Donald Trump met Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the dream team. They're not saying the dream team, I am. The dream team, I'm saying. At the White House on Tuesday, as the first foreign leader to visit in Trump's second term. Watch this from X.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years.
Amazing. It makes sense because there has been a war going on between Israel and the Palestinians for years now, and no one has been able to stop that war, bring peace. Peace in the Middle East. They have not been able to do it. And so, since the things that they have done has not worked, president after president after president, it has not worked. And why not try something new? Why not buy it, fix it, and sell it? Make it new, make it good. It's going to be interesting to see if this works or not, if it happens. But why not have a wait and see? Maybe it will happen. Maybe you can finally end the war. Because the Palestinians, it looked like their whole mission is to drive the Jews into the ocean. And they shout about it in their little parade things, rallies, or when they have those violent street things. They be shouting from the ocean to the sea, something like that. Is it ocean to the sea?
Mountains to the sea.
Oh, from the river to the sea?
Oh, right, river to the sea.
Mountain
We both got it wrong.
They don't have mountains in Israel.
Right.
But they may have some. But from the river to the sea. So their whole mission over the years has been to drive the Jews into the sea. It wasn't like they were trying to somehow or another make peace so they can share the land and have peace. Because I remember when Israel gave up Gaza. And I'm like, why is Israel giving up Gaza? And I wasn't into politics at the time. But it didn't make sense because Israel has given up so much to the Palestinians, and they were still not happy. And they would take the land and they would turn it into a ghetto. It would remind me of the blacks in America. The blacks were blaming white people for taking their land or whatever, taking whatever they took from them. I don't know what they took. But then when the whites would give it to the blacks, all they did was to turn it into a ghetto. And they would go over and look over at the whites and want the other nice things they have. But the blacks did nothing to build up their own places. And I saw that with my own eyes when I went over to Israel. Only thing the Palestinians were doing was complaining, we want the land, we want the land. And then when the Jews would give it to them, all they did was to destroy that land. And they'd look over at the Jews at their nice land, and they wanted that. I remember when we went to Israel, and you got to visit Israel. I love Israel. We went near the Gaza Strip, but we couldn't go over there because Israel had given it up to the Allahu Abha people, and the Allahu Abha people when it was too dangerous to go in there. And I don't know if you've seen a picture of Gaza lately. It's a total disaster. It's a war zone. They have not done anything to make it nice, to make it work. And the radical, whatever you call those people, they have built underground tunnels to try to fight Israel instead of the building up top to make the place beautiful and relaxing and letting go. They won't do it. It reminds me so much of the blacks. I don't know what to do, but that's what happens when you're angry and you think somebody owes you something. It's never enough for you. It's never enough. It's like when parents spoil the children. The mother spoil the children. It's never enough. And the kids still end up hating you. And you wonder, why do they hate me? You spoiled them. I think personally that Israel gave up too much land way back when. Because these people they're not satisfied. They want to go from the river to the sea. And Joe Biden, you can't hide. Remember they were chanting that in America on our soil? They even hate us. And our government let them into our country. Well, it looks like that may be ending too. I hope so. I want my country back. I already know it's not coming back, but I want it. 888-775-3773. So it's going to be interesting to see the outcome of what happens in Gaza while Donald Trump is in office. I know that it appears, because I don't know, I'm not there, it appears that Netanyahu and Trump are good. They get along very well, it seems. And I know that based on the stories I've been hearing, that Netanyahu is like a Trump over in Israel, and the liberals hate him in the same way the liberals hate Trump in America, and they want to lock him up. They want to lock up Netanyahu. They want to lock up Putin. They want to lock up the whole dream team. Donald Trump, Netanyahu, and Putin. That's like trying to lock up Hake, the Anchor Baby, and Joel. The dream team. You can't lock up the dream team. And then if you go after one of the teams, the other one got their backs. So you can't touch them. 888-775-3773. Let me go to Ronnie out of Ohio. Ronnie, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Uncle Jesse, thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
Yep. I wanted to call back because we were going to go over what Martin Luther King said in that clip, and I think you were going to try to explain to me where he was wrong.
Oh, okay. Ronnie, do you record when you call in, do you record our conversation?
Nah, it's already on YouTube Live, isn't it?
Yeah, but you don't record it and put it up on YouTube or anything?
Correct. I don't do that. I'm not a
Okay.
content creator.
Oh, okay. Amazing. And so, what Ronnie is, and I knew Ronnie wasn't doing that because Ronnie called me Uncle. Uncle Jesse.
Yeah, you my uncle. You say a lot of stuff that I agree with, and there are some things you say that I disagree with, but I love you either way.
I know. Ronnie said that we played a soundbite from Martin Luther King back in the 60s, I guess. And it talked about pulling yourself up from the bootstrap. And what did you say about that? And do you remember what you said, Ronnie?
Not 100%.
Right.
I just know that Yeah, I know what Martin Luther King said. I was in agreement with him on that. He said that he believes that we ought to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, but it's still cruel to say to a bootless man to pull himself up by his bootstraps.
And you agree with him that it was cruel to tell a man to. You said that it's cruel to tell a man to pull himself up by his bootstrap.
If he's a bootless man, yes, it would be cruel. If he's not a bootless man, then it would not be cruel to tell him to pull himself up by those bootstraps.
And so what's cruel about, first of all, what does it mean to tell a man a bootless man to pull himself up by a bootstrap? If he does, what does that mean to you?
To me, that means, so if somebody has a job, if they have land, if they grew up in a house with a mother and a father, if they had those necessary things that you need to survive, then they don't have an excuse for not making it in this country. This is
right.
You're not going to get a better opportunity in many other countries than you will in the United States.
Right.
But there are some people who have not had those things, and to tell them to pull themselves up by their bootstraps is unfair.
But why would that be unfair if they have nothing? Let's say they have zero. But why would it be cruel or unfair to tell that person, get up and do it for yourself?
Telling them to get up and do it for themselves without any resources is impossible.
Why?
They wouldn't be able to do that unless you're telling them to go steal or take whatever it is that they need.
But how about if you told them, hey, get up, get a job, save your money, do your own thing? What's cruel about that?
Nothing.
So then why you say it's cruel then?
That's the situation you just asked me about is a different one than what Martin Luther King was talking about.
But let's say that man have nothing, zero. If you're homeless, he has zero. Mm-hmm. How is it cruel to tell that man to get up and I ain't gonna give you nothing. I ain't gonna help. Ain't nobody gonna help you. You poor person with nothing. Get up and do it for yourself. How's that cruel?
Because they wouldn't be able to. For example, if they're homeless, filling out a job application, you have to have an address. For the most of the time, they want you to list your address, where you live, your work history. So if that homeless person doesn't have a home, they don't have work history, they don't have references to list, they literally can't do anything.
But that's not true because you can get any kind of job. You can get jobs where you don't even have to give a location of where you live. Gardeners get jobs every day. They just go out there and help, and they receive their paycheck. They don't ask, how can you do this and how can you do that? They just get paid. You're giving them, even Christ told the man that couldn't walk for a lifetime, he couldn't walk. Christ like, you want to walk? Because he's like, oh, Christ, they won't let me, they won't help me into the water. They won't help me in the water. And nobody would help the man into the water. Everybody ran over him. And then he was like, Christ, help me, Christ, help. And Christ didn't help him. Christ said to him, do you want to walk? And the man was like, yes. And Christ said, get up and walk. Was that cruel?
No. And that's also one of my favorite stories in the Bible.
Right.
Because Jesus, he asked him that question, do you want to walk? Because there are some people that they want to stay in that hell. They don't want to help themselves. They just want to be lazy and get those government handouts. And I wouldn't call those people bootless. I would call them lazy. I would call them lazy, probably is the best word to describe them.
So
and those aren't the people that I would be advocating for. I wouldn't be standing up and fighting for somebody to get help if they don't want the help. They got to at least want the help first.
So then you agree with me it's not cruel to tell a bootless man to get up and walk?
I still disagree with you on that, and it's based on the context.
Amazing. Well, okay.
Yeah,
But
when he was talking about in the 60s, and the reporter asked him, he said, how come other immigrant groups can come over and they can find a way to make it, but it seems that black people can't? And Martin Luther King pointed out that when those other groups come over, they can, and even now, even today, you'll see a lot of gas stations are run by people that come from Asia. Because when they get here, that the government gives them access to capital that they don't give access to when it comes to being for black people.
that's not
Black
true.
people don't get
They're
that.
overdoing giving to blacks now. They give blacks
I think-
everything to the point that the blacks are so. They gave the black, and then I got to run, but they gave the blacks money to buy property and buku money. They just gave them the money, and the blacks didn't pay the money back, and the country crashed. So they're overdoing it for the blacks to the point that the blacks won't even help themselves. There was a black woman that's a so-called congresswoman or whatever she is. She's a nasty woman too. And she was comparing her. She was like, I had to work to get what I have. It wasn't easy for me like Marjorie, what's Marjorie's name? Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she named some other white person. She up there, a congresswoman, sitting up there doing an interview, still complaining, talking about it wasn't easy for her like it was. She doesn't know what it took Marjorie to get that job. And this woman got the same job, but she's still bitching.
Yeah, and I would probably push back on her too.
Yeah.
But yeah, what Martin Luther King was pointing out about the willingness of the government to give land to white people and not give it to black people.
But Martin Luther King was wrong for that. Martin Luther King was wrong for that. He's a socialist because in those days, black people did for themselves, buddy. They didn't need some white man to give them something. They did. But Rod, I gotta run because of time. Thank you, man.
Absolutely. I'll call you some other time.
All right, buddy. Martin Luther King was wrong. Martin Luther King was a socialist. He wanted to control the blacks. He wanted to be king, Martin Luther King. Nick, what were you saying? I just see you coming.
No, he was talking about all those benefits some of these people get, Asians, he said, store owners. I've asked a lot of those people how they did it. They say they pool their money. I'm sure they get benefits or some whatever, tax breaks. I'm sure if you're smart, you can find those things. But they say they pool their money together and buy those shops and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like 5, 6, 7, like a whole bunch of them. They get together, they pool their money and buy them.
It's unfortunate that anybody would tell the blacks that they can't make it for any reason. You can. Make it mean doing what you want to do. Make it mean if you want no house or you want a house. You want no job or you want... That's what making is. Making is not compared to anybody else. And you don't have to have an address to get a job. Hank is saying around if you're smart.
Key word, if you're smart. Because Nick said if you're smart, you can pull stuff together and get some benefits.
Right. Are you saying the blacks are not smart?
Maybe.
Ooh.
Shots fired. Come at me.
Show him on screen, the man saying
Come at
these
me,
words.
blacks. I'm
So
live
are
next.
you saying the blacks are not smart?
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Ooh. Well, they're not. If they're begging and blaming and whining,
Yeah.
that's a sign of not being smart. I want to play something real fast for you, and I want, if possible, to get your feedback on this and to know what you think about it. Now, this may be true or may not. They didn't show the drag queen that this preacher was talking to. They didn't show his face, his or her face. But I want to know what you think about this. I want to know do you believe that this pastor was right or wrong to kick out a drag queen, out of his church? So allegedly, this black preacher is kicking a drag queen out of his church. Watch this from X.
Can you leave my church and go put on man clothes? And don't come here like that no more.
Thank you, Jesus.
I hold a standard in here. Whatever you do on the outside is your business. But I would not let drag queens come in here. And y'all gonna come in here, you're gonna dress like a man. Now, whatever you do on the outside, that's your business. But when you come in this house, if you a man, dress like a man. If you a woman, you dress like a woman. I'm not going to allow it. My salvation is more important. And God is holding me accountable. Now, whatever you do outside these doors, I don't bash, I don't judge. But when you come in here, you would not be a drag queen. If the Holy Ghost tell me in my spirit that is drag queen sitting here with wigs on, I'm going to ask you to be removed from the sanctuary. Because you cannot, I would not play this game. You would not, I don't care if you don't clap and you don't like it, don't come here. You would not be wearing wigs and heels and fooling people up in here. Come on. Come on. You can fool people, but see, I got the Holy Ghost for real. I can pick your spirit up in the back of the church. Hallelujah.
So allegedly, either a man or a woman was in this man's church dressed as, if it was a man, he would dress as a woman, or if it was a woman, she would dress as a man. And the preacher told him, you got to go. Don't come up in here with that mess. The Holy Spirit done told me, and I can tell your spirit way behind the back of the church. You got to go. I think before I respond to this, because this is so interesting, I want to know what my experts think about this. They didn't know I was going to have them to come in and comment on this. But I realized, you know what, this needs some expert attention. And I have the best experts on this side of heaven. And this requires expert attention. So this black guy told this drag queen, you got to go. Don't come up here with no wig on and high heels and dress, whatever he said. And you got to go. You got to leave my church. We have a standard up in here, a standard in here, he says. And you heard the congregation applauding and praising the Lord and amen. Amen. And so, just waving to the camera. Right. And so, I want to hear what my experts have to say about it. Derek is telling me, my producer, drag queens, a performer, typically a man who adopts a flamboyant or female persona. Parodic female persona with glamorous or exaggerated costumes and makeup. That's too much for me. Let me go to Terry out of Oregon. Terry, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Terry.
Hi.
Hey, Terry. Y'all know Terry?
Hi, Phil.
Everybody knows Terry.
She the homie.
I call they little shows too sometimes.
How's your little show?
Whatever.
Shout out.
Shout out to
sorry.
Terry.
I meant that to be funny, not condescending.
No, it was very good.
It was funny and condescending.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh, Lord.
Well,
Okay,
go
yeah,
ahead.
I wanted to call in about this topic because I agree with you that he didn't handle it properly, the pastor. I do think he probably should have said something to this person, but it should have been handled privately and actually, treating that individual with respect and actually addressing the fact that they do need some kind of help. You know?
So when you say that he should have said something privately, what should he have said to the drag queen privately?
Well, I mean, he should have, like, you know, taken him aside and just stated, like, that the way you're dressed in this church is not appropriate. You know, we expect men and women to be dressed as men or women.
But the women had on pants, and women are not allowed to wear pants to church.
Well, women have been wearing pants a long time.
I know, but beforehand, they were not allowed in the church with pants.
Okay.
So should the
I
pastor,
don't know, Justy.
should the pastor have pulled them to the side and address them?
Well, I do think a lot of women do need to be addressed about their what they're wearing in church. A lot of women don't dress appropriately in church. So I was talking with another friend about this. In her church, she sees a lot of women wearing really tight clothing. And, you know, it's not appropriate.
And should the women be addressed about wearing pants in church?
I don't know.
Because at one point in America, it was as serious as a man wearing a dress to church or a woman wearing pantsuit. Women could not wear a dress to church. No, you can't come into church with those pants on. You ain't no man. And they had to go back home.
Oh, really?
So it was as a big of a deal as this issue seemed to be.
Yeah, but I think there's a big difference between a woman wearing, like, trousers and a man coming in a wig and makes
Why? What's
and,
the
like,
difference?
pantyhose.
What's the difference?
Well, the amount of time it takes to put on, for one.
What? That doesn't make sense.
It takes the same amount of time to put on pants as it does a skirt. So,
Right.
But when you got to put on all of that extra stuff, it's a little bit, you know, odd. And I do think it's when somebody is coming in that way, there is something going on deeper. It's
So do
not
you
just,
think that when people showed up, the crowds that showed up to Christ, and Christ came for all, not for everybody, and when he came, there were only one good person on earth. They couldn't find no good people. Everybody was no good. So you can imagine what they were doing, right? He never questioned how they were dressed or whether they're rich or poor, black or white, male or female. He came for all. And he didn't question the homosexuals, the drag queens, the alcoholic, the drug addicts, the whore. Remember the whore, the slut? And they would try to stone her.
Yeah.
And instead of saying, you a slut, but he said to the stoners, to the preacher, let ye without sin cast the first stone. And they put out all their rocks. I bet you if somebody had stopped that preacher, he would have put down his rock.
well, yeah, I don't think how he handled it was appropriate. It wasn't like...
But it wasn't even his business at all. Along the drag, again, I don't know what happened before the drag queen walked in or why the drag queen walked in, the drag queen protest or anything. But if the drag queen just sitting there in a dress or the alcoholic sitting there drunk and they're not disturbing anything, why not leave them alone? They may hear something because they're looking for something for them to be in church. Why not just leave them in the church? You never know the message they may hear.
Maybe you're right, Jesse. I don't know. I dealt with this recently, though, because I guess it's been on my mind. There was a young man coming to my church that I'd kind of been friendly with. And I was walking home with a friend one day, like one of my girlfriends, and I ran into him in the park, and he was dressed in drag, like full-on hard wig, like thigh-high, like, I don't know. It was a mess. It was a mess. And I recognized him. I said, hi, you know. And then I saw him at church on Sunday, and he came dressed in that. all that. And I was like, okay, this is interesting because I'd never seen him before and all of that.
Oh, he came to church, drag queen?
Oh, yeah. He had the wig and the makeup and the...
And you had never seen him like that before?
Well, I saw him in the street like a few days earlier.
Right.
Like I ran into him.
And then he came to church in drag.
Yeah.
And what'd you do?
And it's clear to me he's like really like spiritually going through some stuff.
So what did you do? How did you handle that?
I just treated him normal.
Right on.
I just, said hi to him, talked to him a little bit.
And you said, pretty outfit.
I didn't compliment
you
his outfit. I didn't like
thought.
the outfit, to be honest. I didn't think if a woman was wearing that, it wasn't an appropriate outfit. Honestly, it was kind of.
And did you judge him in thought, eyes,
Yeah, I
word?
judged I didn't judge him with my face so much or my gestures. But
But in your
inside of,
mind, you were going off.
well, I just thought it was like, I don't know. I'm more kind of concerned about what he's going through because I can see that he's searching, and that he wants a deep connection with God. I can tell that. But then
So
also
why
I
judge
see
him
that
at-
he's under...
So what?
Because he came in dressed like a hoochie.
But God said that. But God said that you're not allowed to judge at all. Zero.
Yeah.
So why judge him at all?
Well, I don't know. I'd let it go, Jesse.
I know, but why
I'm
judge
more-
him? Period.
It just happens. It happens, and then you just got to watch yourself and let it go.
Yeah, that's true. You got to
You
practice
know,
letting it
so-
go instead of holding on to the judgment.
But now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, what is the appropriate way to deal with this? As a church body.
The appropriate way to deal with it is not to deal with it. It has nothing to do with you. That his life, he's going through what he's going through, he's doing what he's doing. It has nothing to do with you. Why do you think you have to deal with it at all?
I don't think I have to deal with it. But I do wonder, like, do the church elders, do the church authorities have a responsibility to talk to someone in this
Go
situation?
ahead, guys.
Yeah, it's like, it made me think of something. It's like, it's interesting how we always feel like, and it comes from Satan, to think that we always got to do something.
Yeah.
And instead of having the mindset, do nothing, and then you'll see what to do.
Yeah.
But it's like, because we feel like we have to do something, we end up doing all the wrong things because it's based off of, if you don't, you're not good, you're not the right Christian. And we should more so have the setting of not doing anything.
Reminds me of what Joel was talking about in his show yesterday about always correcting the girlfriend or the woman that you're dating or whatever.
Right.
Always feeling like you got to say something. And a lot of people get the idea of speaking up because most people are scared to speak up. So you just automatically respect somebody who speaks up even when it's out of turn, and that's not right.
Amazing. And you say, Anchor Baby?
To add, something I wanted to add is there's an interesting parallel that you already described with the people maybe back some time ago, they thought that women wearing pants was just as bad as this.
Yeah.
And they probably had never even thought about anything trans. Like that was outside of their world of possibilities in their mind. Or if
gay people didn't exist then. It was just women was the problem.
Right. And so like, if they did think about it, it was like, okay, that's crazy. That would never happen. That's probably happening right now as well.
Yeah.
They're looking at the drag queens going like, okay, this is a problem. And then whatever, in our minds, we could probably imagine something super extreme. And it's like, that would never happen. But give it some time.
Yeah.
It's like a weird, it's not even history repeating itself. It's human nature.
I
a
totally
cycle.
remember it was a big deal for a woman to wear a dress. It was a problem for women wearing pants anyway. But they definitely could not wear no pants in church.
Interesting.
Get off this wagon and go back home.
What will they fight about in 20 years?
I know.
Animal people.
Matthew 7:1 says, "Judge not that ye be not judged." We literally cannot judge. It's abnormal for human beings to judge. And when you're judging, you're really doing it to yourself. TERRI, thank you.
All right. Yeah, thank you for taking my call.
All right. And so with your friend, just wish him well. and let him. That's his life. It has nothing to do with you. Have no
Right.
opinion about it, either good or bad, and let him work it out. You may be of help to him then.
All right, thank you.
All right. She sounded disappointed.
I
But shout out. This
She's,
is from
located here.
this is from YouTube,
Okay,
where
yeah.
it seemingly that quote unquote Bishop T.D. Jakes delivered a puzzling teaching, where he seemingly claimed that Adam was the mother of Eve, not the daddy, not the husband, but the mother. Mamma mia. Are we ready? Yes. Okay, let's try it.
Whether you read it in Corinthians or read it in Genesis, that's salvation. That's speaking Jesus and darkness running. The speaking Savior spoke light and there was light and it was good. The stooping Savior played with clay on the 6th day and made the first man. And on the 7th day, the Sabbath Savior rested. On the 7th day, the Sabbath Savior, the one who said, I am Lord of the Sabbath Savior rested. But Adam fell while the Savior rested. And so the Sabbath Savior had to break his rest and become, number 5, the searching Savior. And the voice of the Lord walked through the cool of the garden. And God said, Adam, where art thou? He didn't ask where Eve was, because Adam was Eve's mama. Eve was born out of Adam. So when he had breathed the breath of life, he had breathed Eve into Adam. Male and female created he them and called his name Adam.
Look at hate like what do you think about that, Anchor Baby?
I don't even understand. I need to hear it again. I don't know if I have. This is above my pay grade. I don't know what the heck he's talking about. He's saying stuff I don't even quite understand.
What do you say?
Well, there's a lot of fluff there that could have been removed that he was saying. It was just a lot of, I don't know, a lot of just fluffy stuff. But God didn't breathe life into Adam to create Eve. And then the mama thing, I don't know if it's a joke, if he was making a joke or if he was serious. But it seems like he was serious because he's saying that through Adam, Eve came just like the birth
Now
of
he had a BJ.
Yeah, that's not.
You can't say that word.
I was wondering if that's what he was saying.
Sorry.
No.
I thought that was a clean version. Now I can hear the kids now. Mama, what's a BJ?
It type of orange juice.
What is it?
Nothing.
So what?
I mean,
I'm
it's
calling
almost
like
like maybe he
attention
was
to it.
alluding to Adam without saying Adam gave birth to Eve, but he's basically alluding to Adam doing some type of, I don't know, birth of Eve, and it just feels weird.
So then who was Eve's mama?
Adam.
Evidently called
Oh,
it
it's like
BJ. What do you say?
T.D. Jakes he really disgusts me. I don't like the way he presents his preaching. It's so trained black preacher style.
Yeah.
All these long pauses and this deep, nasty, sexy voice, if you will. Sounds like he's one of those radio, you know the woman on the radio
Like
who
Barry
takes
White.
your calls and takes your song
Sultry.
request for your loved one.
Yeah.
The one you love.
Hi.
I know what you're talking about.
Thanks for calling. Who's this? Hello, this is John. Oh, hi, John.
Yeah.
How you doing? Fine. Who you loving for tonight, John?
Yeah. Who's that special someone?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
Who's
like a
that special
whisper.
someone, John? I travel a lot. and I haven't had a chance to see my wife. I leave my wife alone. Oh, you love her? I love my wife. I love her very much. My wife is my guy. Oh, John.
My wife is my guy.
That is so nice, John. What do you want me? What do you want to say to your wife tonight? What do you want to play? I want to play Love Bone.
I don't know that one.
Okay. Yeah, so he's like overly sensual, totally appealing.
You're talking about that, right?
Yeah, TD
Okay.
Jakes. That's TD Jakes. He's worse than her. He's trying to appeal, I think. That my theory, I don't know, but I think that he's trying to appeal to the females in his church.
That's why you think
That's why
said,
he talks like that. That's why he's saying that that Adam was Eve's mama.
How can he
Because
say
all
that
he
now?
has is a bunch of mamas in his
Ain't that
church.
much female in the world.
It was gross. It was disturbing. His voice
Yeah.
is disturbing, and his illustration is disturbing, and the way that people read things in the Bible, like God made man, male and female, he created them. He's trying to say that he made Adam male and female, or trying to imply that type of thing.
So,
And that
I
because
don't
Eve
understand.
came out of Adam's rib, Eve came out of Adam, like the babies come out of the woman.
But he came
that's
from the
crazy.
rib.
Right.
Right.
What a
They
psycho.
didn't- Right.
That's an
I
Oprah
almost
type
want to agree.
Christian.
Of course, we don't know, but I almost want to agree with Hake saying that he's trying to appeal to the female audience and kind of change the wording to relate to the
But
ladies.
ain't God going to get him?
So
He's not worried about the
He
God getting him.
gonna
He's
risk
worried
his
about the mamas
salvation.
getting him.
What?
He's worried about the mamas getting him in his church more than
Yeah.
God.
You heard the ladies. It sounded like women really liked what he said too. They're like, "Woo!"
Yeah.
They got some good woohoos. But what the heck was this all about? Help me understand this about. Was he saying there's multiple gods? He's saying like the God of the Savior, the Savior,
the Sabbath, and
the Sabbath
yeah.
Savior.
And all honesty,
what
I
the
had
heck was that?
no
That's why I
idea
said it was a
what-
bunch of fluff.
I
It's
was
hard to
stuck with
tell.
that.
Yeah, I had no idea what TDJ was talking about there.
I was stuck
Zero
there. Yeah.
idea.
I thought he was
None
saying
of
there
it
were
made
multiple
sense.
gods.
Huh?
I thought he was saying there was multiple gods.
It's almost like he really wasn't saying anything.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's
Speaking loud and saying nothing.
Yeah, I didn't hear the. I don't know if he got to a point later.
Yeah,
I didn't
maybe
hear
in
a
the
good point.
video he made, I don't know, but it didn't make sense. None of it made sense at all. It wasn't even clear. Joe, you went skating last night?
no.
Why your eyes so red?
Am I revealing myself?
Yeah,
No, maybe I just got red eyes now.
no pot.
No pot, no
So
skating.
what? You didn't go skating?
No,
You went to bed late?
no, slept early.
Why your
Someone
eyes
said-
so red?
I don't know.
You said it look like you high.
I give up.
That's when you'll know God.
Before I go to the caller, did you know that there was another airplane incident according to the report? It's happening all over the place. What the? And then they tell you, oh, it's okay to fly. It's safer than riding in a car. They still tell you that, right? And so, if it's okay to fly, how come all these DEI incidents are happening? I don't know what's causing why, but this is too much. And they tell you to get in an airplane and go somewhere anyway. What the? Some of you might not be aware of this. I just heard about it this morning from my producer. Fox News is reporting exactly 1 week after a passenger plane and an Army Black Hawk helicopter crashed midair near D.C., killing 67, and killing 67. A Japan airline plane and a Delta airline plane collided in Seattle. Watch this from Fox News. Grandpa, tell me about the good old days. What the? Hopefully, the Great White Hope will get to what's really going on and let us know. Is it DEI? Are we under a terrorist attack in a different kind of a way? Or is there more? We need to know. We need to know what's going on. Because flying ain't no game. You up in the air, and they say flying is safer. I don't believe that anymore. I used to believe it. But in a car, at least you are driving your car. You are on the ground. You're in a car, but you're right there on the ground. It's not like flying. So we need to know what's going on. And don't be trying to convince us that it's okay to fly when all this mess is going on. Really. It's too often. And it's unusual that these things happen this often in America. 888-7753-773. Let me go to North Carolina and talk to Jack. Jack, you're on the air.
Thank you for having me this morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Are you a first-time caller, Jack?
No, sir. I've called before.
All right. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I have two sons from my previous marriage.
Uh-huh.
And last night, my oldest son, we've kind of had a little bit of an estranged relationship over the years, mostly because they've predominantly lived with their mother and had her influence. And last night, he informed me through a text that he is going to transition now. And he's on hormone replacement therapy at this point, and he's been on that for several weeks. And he's been seeing a woman therapist on top of all that. So I'm just kind of needing your guidance in moving forward with this. I'm trying really hard not to judge him. I've been doing your silent prayer for several months, and I'm just trying to follow what you recommend. But I'm just kind of, I'm kind of still in shock from this a little bit, and I'm trying to figure out my way through this, if that makes any kind of sense.
And your question for me is what?
Do I still try and maintain a relationship with my son, or do I just kind of let, if he doesn't really, he kind of blames me for this, basically, is the gist of his text that he sent me, that my views on women are
Stay close to your phone, Jack. He blamed you that what?
He's basically blaming me for a lot of things like my toxic views that he says on women. Because I've tried to share his videos, your videos with him before about, being a man and forgiving your mother and father. And he's basically rejected all that kind of advice. And I'm just not really sure what to do at this point. It really hurts to have to kind of let him be and not judge him about this. And,
When you say judge him, how will you judge him? In what way will you judge him?
I'm not, it's just, I'm really hurting for the fact that he's making this choice and he's hurting himself. It's not about me.
Oh, okay.
I'm hurting for him.
How old is he?
He's almost 24.
Oh, okay. And how are you hurting for him? How does somebody hurt for another person? How does one person hurt for another person?
Just because I know these choices are, not, I know they're his choices, but I feel like he's going to end up regretting them. And I know there's nothing I can do about it. It's just, I guess I'm trying to get through the shock of this right now, if that makes sense.
Well, and so your question for me is what?
how would you deal with this situation, I guess? How would you move forward?
I would have to be in the situation to see how I would deal with it for sure. But what I want you to know is that you've told him. Have you apologized to him for not being there to protect him from his mother? Because it's a total female spirit that he's feeling. He's been turned against you. He has the spirit of his mother, which is evil, and it's not her spirit, but it's in her. And he feels like a woman. He thinks that that's who he is, and the world has told him that's who he is. And now he's making another mistake by doing whatever he's doing. And you're right, he will regret it. Because his misery is not going to change just because he changed his body part. He's still going to be angry. He's still going to be lost. He's still going to be lonely. He's still going to be afraid. And that's going to get worse because one day he's going to realize, what have I done here? It didn't do anything to help me to change my body part. But all you can do, Jack, is to let him know it's not you that's feeling this way. You need to forgive your mother and me for not being good parents, and so that you don't destroy yourself like this. And if he doesn't want to hear, you just let him suffer. And you're right not to judge him, because just as you and his mother didn't know what you guys were doing, you weren't right. That's why both of you were not right. That's why he screwed up. And so you can't judge him, meaning don't get angry at him, but you have to leave him alone and let him go and destroy himself. Maybe he'll wake up and maybe he won't, but there's nothing you can do about it. And there's no such thing as feeling the pain for him. The pain that you're feeling is in you, and it's about you. It has nothing to do with him. You cannot feel someone else's pain. That's an illusion.
Right, I understand what you're saying. It's just I'm trying to get out of my head with this. And I did have a heart-to-heart conversation with him back around Christmas about how he did need to forgive his mother and me, and I did apologize for the mistakes I'd made in parenting.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, he still held that grudge, and it just manifested into this.
He has identified with his mother. He has totally turned away from the father, and he identified with his mother, so he's not going to, for now, unless he suffer more, maybe he'll wake up, maybe he won't. But Jack, you have to let him go and let him suffer. Let him live in his own hell, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't save him. You can't save yourself. You have to leave even your children, once they become adult, you have to leave them in their hell until they cry out to the Father for help.
Should I continue to pray for him that he finds help with the Father, or should I just not even worry about that?
Praying for him in that way is not going to do anything for him, because he may not want God. He may not want help. He may love his hell, and all of your prayers are in vain.
Okay. Thank you very much for the advice, Jesse. If I ever needed your advice and God's help, it's right now. So thank you very much.
And so you're welcome, but just let him, hey, son, okay, I wish you well with your mess. I wish you well. And leave him alone. Don't bug him about it. If you do talk to him, don't ask him about it. Don't cry about it. Just leave him in his hell. Let him suffer. God, if you notice, God can stop him from doing that. But God's not going to stop him from doing it unless he asks God to help. And if he doesn't ask for help, he doesn't invite the light in, the light will let him suffer too, so let him suffer. You have apologized. Okay. That's all you can do. Hey, son, I was wrong. Your mother was wrong, and that's why you're doing this. But if you don't want to forgive and you want to cut off your body part, cut it off. And tell him he probably should put his body part in one of those little jars with some vinegar or something in, so he can preserve
trophy.
Yeah, well, so he can preserve it in case he wake up. He need to try to put it back on.
Yeah, technology might be good in about 10 years. They can do that.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Absolutely. But you have no reason to feel sorry for him. You have no reason to feel bad for him. You have no reason to judge him. You have no reason to do anything but let him suffer. That's on him. It has nothing to do with you now.
Right. Okay.
And that feeling sorry for him is not you feeling sorry for him. It's all fake anyway because there's no you to feel sorry. But it's only to make your ego feel like you love him and you feel bad. But that's just ego. It's not even you.
No, I know it's Satan trying to get in there in my thoughts and tell me that I was a bad parent and I messed up. You know, I know.
Yeah, let those thoughts pass. You continue to work on your life and let this guy go through his own hell now, and you work on you.
Okay. All right.
Amazing.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed weekend.
All right.
You're
you too,
amazing.
And
Thank you, sir.
Stay with the prayer, all right? Stay present.
I will. Staying present. Yes, sir.
All right, buddy. What a mess! This black female by the name of something Pressley, I forgot her first name. She's Ayanna Pressley. She is a mess. I don't know why y'all let these black people in your government, but okay. She claimed Iowa is too white. Can a white person say Chicago is too black? Or South Central LA is too black? Can a white person say that and nothing's done about it or said about it? KCRG, a Massachusetts Democrat slammed our policy, particularly around minorities and marginalized population during a U.S. House committee hearing with our government. Here's where this insane, evil, wicked female, and what's her name? Ayanna Pressley said this crazy thing. Watch this from X.
Like Iowa. Governor Reynolds, let's learn more about the state. Do you know what percentage of Iowans are white and what percentage are black?
I don't know the exact percentages, no. We're by far a larger percentage of white population.
That's correct. Iowa is 90% white and only 4.5% black. So that is drastically different from the national population. So when Republicans suggest Iowa should be a national model, they're advocating for a government that doesn't reflect our country. So let's talk about what this model.
That white woman, I wish she had the gonads to tell that black heifer how to eat the cabbage. I would say, you know what? It's 90% white. Thank God. It's beautiful because of that. It's not a ghetto. We don't come up here. We gonna keep it white. We're trying to get it 100% white. Remember, in the blacks were so bad in or are so bad in New Orleans that the white people got fed up. They're like, you know what? We're tired of this mess. We tried to help y'all. We told you that we don't hate you. We gave you DEI, and you're still destructive. We're going to move out. We're going to start our own little country or state. This woman should have said to that black Ayanna Pressley thing, you know what? I don't know, but I know it's more white people, and we're going to keep it that way. Any problem with that? But white people won't speak up. Amazing. Let me go to Jonathan out of New York. Jonathan, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse, I did want to talk about the biblical question. But first of all, I appreciate the show, but you're wrong on Israel.
What do you mean?
Every country in the world is like calling it a genocide and saying that you just want a vacation there in Gaza after what they've done to Gaza. They've just destroyed it. It looks like a horror scene out of a movie. And to just be saying you want to go there and dance on the graves is kind of offensive.
So you said I'm wrong on Gaza?
Yeah, you're wrong on Israel and Gaza.
And what am I saying wrong about Gaza?
I agree with every country other than the United States that what Israel's been doing to them has been terrible for the past 50 years. It's basically an open-air prison
But
they've
no,
been
no,
bombing
no.
them.
What
They
am
have
I
something
saying
called
wrong about? You said you disagree with me about Gaza, right?
Yeah.
And what am I saying that's wrong about Gaza? What do you disagree with me about?
Well, you said something about wanting Americans to vacation there because Trump is going to apparently take it over. I don't think that's true. I think that's his excuse to send troops over there because he's a salesman.
So
he's
you
saying
don't
we can
think
send
that
troops
Donald
over there
Trump is
to
going to?
again go to war for Israel again.
You don't think
And,
Donald Trump is going to
what
take it over?
That's what he's saying. That's how he's selling it. He's saying, yeah, we're like this is everybody was against it, even his supporters were saying no more troops to Middle East. And he's saying, yeah, we're going to send troops to Middle East, but it's a good thing actually. It's actually America first, because then America will get a base in Gaza,
So
and we
you-
could help Israel spread war even more.
So, Jonathan, you don't believe that Donald Trump is going to take Gaza over?
I don't think so. I think he's just using that as an excuse to send troops.
But I don't know if he would do it or not. But I don't know if he's serious about it or if he's really going to do it. And Netanyahu was standing there with them when he said it, and Netanyahu wasn't laughing as though it was a joke. Would you think Netanyahu is for or against Trump taking over Gaza?
I think he'll give some concessions. It's mostly going to be in the form of military bases. And here's the real question. Who's actually going to live in the land of Gaza? It's going to be the Israelis. It's not going to be the Americans.
Why not?
So it's really insignificant.
Even if
It's really
if we
insignificant to call
own
it
it,
American
are you
territory.
saying that if we own it, we can't live there?
You could go there. Americans can go to Israel if they want to.
But you
it's
can't
just
go
going
to
be Israelis that
Gaza.
are living there.
You can't go to Gaza.
Yeah, because Palestine. Well, actually, you could.
No,
but
you
now you
can't.
can't because it's being bombed.
No, because we went over there before it was bombed, right? And it was just before, right after Israel had given the Gaza Strip over to the Allahu people. And we went there, but we couldn't go into Gaza because the Allahu people didn't like Christians and Jews.
No, that's not true. You know, it's a tradition in Israel to spit on Christians. And Palestinians, there's a lot of Christians there. They have a lot of respect for Christians.
But they don't like Christians and Jews. They say we're infidels.
Well, Jews call us goyim, so it's kind of the same thing. Like it's both of them. Like there's a lot of religious conflict, and I think that's you know, you can play that game. But what really happened is Israel kept a bunch of basically innocent people. We're killing them for 50 years. Even in 2023, when October 7th happened, in that same year, there were a lot more Palestinians killed by Israel than Israelis killed by Palestinians. It's been that way for 50 years.
So do you agree with me that Allahu people, they hate the Christians and the Jews?
No, I don't agree with that with the Palestinians.
So then why do they want us dead and they think we're infidels?
They had a rebel group. Hamas was elected. It was actually propped up by Israel. You can listen to Dennis Prager, who's a huge Zionist, and he concedes that Israel propped up Hamas on purpose to try to get rid of Palestine. It's been the plan for
But
years.
you're not answering my question.
It's an Israeli plan.
You're
to
not
take over the
answering my
entire
question.
and they control over our politicians.
You're not answering my question.
Okay, what's the question?
Why do they, you said you don't believe they want to kill the Christians and the Jews. When they say they do, they say that we're infidels. Are you okay with that?
No, this is propaganda. This is the propaganda that you're hearing, and it's not all propaganda because they do get annoyed, obviously, like righteously, like what you call angry. You could say like they shouldn't get angry, but
So
when
you-
they've been bombed for 50 years, yes, you're going to have a rebel group rise up and eventually do something.
So
And it was
you're okay
perfectly
with
done.
the
Let to be done.
Are you okay with the infidel, with the Allah people wanting to kill the Christians and the Jews?
You know who set up 9/11? It wasn't the Allahu Akbar people.
You're not answering my question.
No, I do not think it's right. For like, I think if people are like radical terrorists over there,
You're not
yeah.
thinking what is right.
if people are radical terrorists and they really want to kill like all the Christians and the Jews, then yes, it'd be right to take them out.
Do you think it's right that the Allah people want to kill the Christians and the Jews because they believe that we are infidels?
There's over 1 billion Muslims, and all of them want to kill all the Christians and the Jews.
You're still not answering the question.
But it's a question that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense that the Allah people want to kill the Christians and Jews, or it doesn't make sense that, I don't know what doesn't make sense, that I'm saying it, or that's what they want.
because the question makes an assumption that the Allahu Akbar people just want to kill all the Christians and
I'm
Jews.
telling you what they said, and it
If
used to
all
be
all the Muslims
at one
wanted to kill
time.
all the Christians and Jews,
Yeah,
then yes, let's get rid of
it
all
used
of
to
them,
be
right?
at one time. It was in their little. It was in their little Bible thing that Christians and Jews are infidels, and they are worthy of death, and you can deceive them. You can do whatever it takes to destroy them. You can befriend them. You can do whatever it takes to destroy them. Are you okay with that?
I'm also not okay with what's in the.
You still didn't answer the question for some
Talmud.
reason.
Okay, no, that's not what they want, though. The only
It
people
is.
that have
I
been
just
dying
told
are
you
Muslims.
it was in their little Bible thing. They
The
want
only time
to
they ever got
kill.
attacked, it was like organized by Israel. Like the Muslims are the only ones getting
Jonathan,
killed.
why
We're
you
going
not
after
answering
guy.
that question?
It's just a false premise.
It's not.
That's
It
what I'm
was in the Bible. It was in the Allah Bible, man. And so even young kids been taught the moment they pop out of mama's womb, they are taught that the Christians and the Jews are infidels, and they are worthy of death. You heard them over in this country chanting from the ocean to the sea.
Yeah, because they don't want to be genocided. They want to have their own land.
And so are you okay with them wanting to kill the Christians and the Jew from the river to the sea? Thank you. Are you okay with them wanting to kill the Christians and the Jews?
Okay, there's two sides that are saying from the river to the sea.
You
Israel
still
and
not
Palestine.
answering that.
One is bombing the other and actually trying to do it. The
Are
other
you
is just saying,
still okay with? Are you okay with the Allahu Akbar people wanting and teaching to kill the Christians and Jews?
I'll give you the answer you want. No, I'm not okay with it.
I'm not giving an answer. You're not giving me the answer I want. You're giving me the answer you want. What answer do you want? You have.
I'm just saying it's not a good question.
Why
not
not?
a good question.
Why is not a good
So if I have to
question?
answer yes or no.
Why
If
is
you want to answer
not?
yes or no, then
Why
no.
is it
No, it's
not? Why is it not
it's
a
not
good
good that
question?
It's not good that
Why
all
is
Muslims
it
want
not a
to-
good? Why is it not a good question if you're okay with the Allahu Akbar people wanting to kill the Christians and the Jews? Why is that not a good question?
Because every other country in the world except America knows that Israel is the aggressor.
You're
We
not
have Zionist
answering that
propaganda and
question.
just spreading it.
Why are you okay with them wanting to kill the Christians and the Jews and then drive us from the river to the sea?
Okay, so it's Palestine that's trying to drive Israel from the river.
Why
to the
you
sea?
not
Who's
answering the
being
question, man? You're all around the question. You're dodging the questions of if
dodging
you're
reality.
okay for them to want to kill the Christians and the Jews.
No, that's not okay.
And why not?
Well, they're not. If they were doing that, it would not be okay.
Why is not okay?
If they were trying to kill all the Christians and Jews, that would be bad. Yeah.
Why is it
And the
not
hypothetical-
okay
and
that
all
they
hypothetical
want?
line is propaganda.
Why is it not okay that they teach and they want to kill the Christians and the Jews? What's wrong with that in your mind?
You could pick at a lot of religions and make them look really violent. And yes, there's
You're
some
not
things in
answering
Islam-
that
you could pick at Islam.
question. You're not
There's
answering
something-
my question. Why are you
There's
dancing
something
around
in
that
Talmud
question?
says they want to kill all they want to kill all goyim.
Jonathan.
The goyim should be slaves.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
Why are you okay with them wanting to kill the Christians and the Jews?
Okay, I'm okay with that because there's different sects of every religion that becomes radical, and yes, there are some sects of Islam who do take some parts of it could just be a fundamentally religious thing, like not all of it.
And you're okay
because
with it, huh? And you're okay with it?
Well, no, I'm not okay with it from any religion.
Are you? You're not okay with them wanting to kill the Allahu Akbar people wanting to kill the Christians and the Jews? You're not okay with that?
No, I'm not okay with that.
Are you a Christian?
Yes.
Are you a Christian?
Yes.
You love the Jews?
Yes, I love the Jews.
You love the Jews?
Love everybody.
You love the Jews?
I do love the Jews. 100%, yeah.
You love white people?
I do love white people and
right.
black people, but just not the Mexicans.
Amazing. I know you want to respond to the biblical question. Hold on a minute. The treasure chest is now open on D Live. Back in a moment. Let me go quickly back to Jonathan out of New York. Jonathan, love Israel. Jonathan.
My favorite country, yeah, go ahead.
If you were the president of Israel and the Allahu Akbar been trying to kill you and kill so many Jews over the years, and they still want to run the Christians and the Jews from the river to the sea, and you were president, and these people been bombing you forever, you gave up land, and you still want to take you to the river from the sea, what would you do differently as president of Israel?
Well, I would stop bombing them. That's what I would do. I'd stop mowing the grass.
And you let them continue to bomb you?
No, it's 100 times more Muslims that have died around Israel.
But you would let them continue to bomb you?
No, if there's somebody bombing Israel, you should target that group and get rid of the group who's actually trying to bomb you.
And so you would bomb
like all the Middle East, they're all human shields. It's not going to stop with Palestine.
You would bomb Allahu Akbar back over there if they bombed you.
Yes, I would target the group and then bomb them back.
Oh, okay. Oh, amazing. So Israel doing the right thing then?
Apparently, yeah.
Oh, okay. What the? All right, thank you, man.
You convinced me. Oh, wait, I want to answer the biblical question.
Oh, yeah. Is anger a part of intelligence or stupidity?
I think it's stupidity because you realize how often it's misplaced. You'll place your anger on people who really don't deserve it because something else got you angry. Your life circumstances or somebody that you don't have the recourse to access.
Yeah.
So you take it out on the people that don't really deserve it. It happens very often, and that's why I think it's a good example of why it's stupidity.
Oh,
and if I could just quickly say something from Norm Macdonald, because it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, or you guys were talking about earlier.
Who?
Norm Macdonald, the famous comedian, and he was talking about God.
That was on the show?
Can there be good without evil?
Oh,
was
no,
the question.
it did.
And there can be good and evil, and there has to be evil, because if God is all good, if he just created all good, it'd just be more of himself. So in order to create life, he couldn't just create more of himself where the bad comes from.
Jonathan. Hold on a minute.
Sorry, I'm ranting here.
Yeah. How you going to run Israel and you're ranting? Netanyahu does not rant.
No, he doesn't. He's very sophisticated.
So, and real short, and I got to run, you're saying good cannot exist without evil, and evil cannot exist without good?
Yeah, I'm saying both have to exist, because if it was all good, then God would just be reproducing.
Why do you say that? Do you think evil no good?
Well, there is evil in this world.
Do you think evil knows good?
Does it know good? I know that's a tough question.
Why?
Does it know good?
Yeah.
Are they related in any way? Do they meet each other? I think they are separate things.
No.
I think they are separate.
Is evil aware of good?
No.
And then why do you think you need evil in order to have good?
Because if it was all good, then we wouldn't exist. It'd just be all God, because God is good.
And it is all good, but the people just don't know it.
Yeah, but I think that's why we exist. There has to be some type of conflict in order for things to actually happen.
Not true. It don't have to be. That's not true. You can have perfect peace right here on earth if human beings were to overcome their wicked hearts. That would be perfect peace. But you know what, Jonathan, call me again. Very interesting, man.
All right. Yeah, good conversation. Thank you.
Do you make a quick yes or no? No follow up. You agree with me about the dream team? Donald Trump, Netanyahu, and Putin, the dream team.
I'll take 1 out of 3.
And which one?
That's up to you.
I'm taking all 3. Which one you take?
I'll take Trump and Putin.
You love Netanyahu?
I love him. I hope he comes. I
He's
hope he
just
comes
like
to-
Trump and Putin. They're the same.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying the person
No,
that they're
it's
selling.
true. Next time he comes to town, I want you to come and meet him and talk to him.
All right.
All
If
right.
he invites me, I might go and change my mind.
You will. All right, buddy. Call me again, all right?
All right. Yeah. See you later.
All right, buddy. The one thing that I've noticed more and more and more in the movies and in government and in businesses, white people have allowed these angry black women to get involved in their businesses and government. And these white females think that because they're black and female, and they can lie and say how hard it is for the black female. It's always been hard for the black female. They think that they can just act any kind of way and say anything, and they are some nasty, nasty bitches. I mean, just nasty. It is awful. It's like they have been given permission to just be nasty bitches. And they expect to get away with it because they're a black female. And they lie and say, oh, it's so hard for the black woman. It's so hard for the... It's not true at all. What's difficult for her is her her bad attitude, her nasty disposition in life. And I'm seeing this all over the place. I'm like, what is going on? And the poor white men, they can't say that they can, but they won't. And then the white women are kissing up to it because they're afraid. I remember we showed you this video. Well, according to the video, this company delivered a refrigerator to this black female home, and the refrigerator didn't fit. It wouldn't fit in, according to the video now, it wouldn't fit in the area that she wanted it to go. And the man was like, it's not going to fit, lady. We got to take it back. And she like imprisoned them, according to the report. Didn't want them to leave and take the refrigerator away. She had a fit. And it got so bad that she went out and sat in their truck. She put on his backpack. She was screaming. They had to hold her down in the yard to try to take the backpack away from her. And the white lady like, what's wrong, baby? When will you overcome fear? When will you overcome bootlicking? Why do you like living that way? In fear, because that's what it is. And these people are going to only get worse. They're not going to get better because they're not controlled by consciousness. They're not aware of what they're doing. They're unconscious. And so you won't even say no to them so they can be shocked a little bit and maybe wake up a little bit. And so do you want to live in a world like this? Meaning that, do you want to be one with that world or do you want to overcome it? You can overcome it and then let the hell happen through other people inside of them. It'll be their hell and not yours. You will have peace, perfect peace. Christ came so you can overcome the world. So he left it as it is, all messed up. It's the Old Testament. But you can overcome it. He didn't want to condemn it because he knew what was driving the people. It wasn't them. And the Democrats, and some of the writers too, we just don't know a lot about the writer Republicans, but the Democrats have no intention, zero intention of working for you and making sure that you get the best service in the country. They are all about themselves. And if anyone try to stop them, they're not gonna say, oh, we're sorry. We're gonna do right next time. They're gonna go after the people who try to stop them and put America first. And they have no shame about it because they know that all these years you've been voting for them anyway, and all they have to do is cry racism, sexism, homophobism, misogynism, which doesn't exist anyway, none of this stuff. And they know that all they have to do is say that, and the dumb people still vote for them.